A stone's throw from Quebec City sits one tough quarter-mile speed plan. Set in the hills of the Quebec countryside, this rough and tumble track is 2 lanes of high-stakes action. It's a bump-and-grind roller coaster ride, and one driver has raced his way to victory lane the last 2 occasions. Can Jason Hathaway taste the champagne and bask in the confetti shower a 3rd straight season? We are in Vallée-Jonction, Quebec for race number 3 of the 2016 NASCAR Pinty Series on TSN. This is the CRS Express 300. It's a beautiful evening in one of the province's most entertaining racing facilities. I'm Dave Bradley. Along with me is Adam Ross, and Tanya Baudin is trackside covering today's action. Adam, the series first came to Autodrome Chaudière in 2014. We've seen nothing but great short track action each of the last 2 years we've been coming here.
Dave, this is a quarter-mile, 2-groove, high-banked oval. 16 degrees banking in the corner. It is a down-and-dirty, blue-collar racetrack.
And there you see the points, a tie between Lapsevich and Ranger at the top.
And how about Larry Jackson there in 4th?
But guys like Hathaway, LeBay, and Clute, they really have to pick it up. With more on how the field stacks up, let's send it trackside to Tanya.
Thanks, guys. Fun fact, it's the same front row as last event, but in reverse. Alex Labbé took his 4th career NASCAR E3 pole here at Chaudière. He circled the quarter-mile track in a time of 12.9 seconds, setting a new track record. Alongside his Caden Lapsevich in the 76 Dodge, he is also feeling confident and looking forward to this 300 laps race.
And it's tracks like these that he cut his racing teeth on. But as we take a look a little bit further back at the field, there's the 56, the Omvik Dodge, normally piloted by Matthew Scannell. This week, David Michaud straps into the Jim Bray Autosport machine.
Now let's get down to business. Track promoter Andre Poulin is ready to get started.
Gentlemen, start your engine!
The engines come to life on the front straightaway here at Autodrome Chaudière as we prepare for the CRS Express 300. We'll have a number of onboard views today, including the 59 of Gary Clute. But let's get some insight into today's race with 2-time Chaudière winner Jason Hathaway. Jason, it's Dave Bradley in the booth. Do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Dave.
Jason, you're starting in lucky 13th. You started 13th last year and you won this deal. Is that the game plan again today?
Well, it's never the game plan, I guess, but we'll take what we got here to start. We started here last year and got the job done, so hopefully we can do it again tonight.
Jason, it's Adam Ross. We know you like that hard charger money. What's the fast way around this quarter-mile oval?
Well, I'm hoping the bottom, that's where I'm starting, so we'll try the bottom, try to pick them off here once we get going. After last about 50, guys start settling out, so we'll see how it goes.
Thanks, Jason. Good luck tonight.
Well, as Jason and the rest of the field get set, let's take a look at the Mopar starting lineup into row number 3. There's Donald Teague in the 22. Row number 4 is Gary Clute and the 74, Kevin Lacroix.
Row number 5 we go, and it's Larry Jackson in the number 1 machine alongside DJ Kennington in the Castrol Edge 17. In the 6th row, Andrew Ranger in the Mopar 27 and Mark Dilley in the Leland Industries 02.
Row number 7 is where we find Jason Hathaway in the 3 and Kerry Mix behind the wheel of the 9. David Michaud is in the 56 and Josh Collins drives the 25. They make up row number 8, and that's your field for the CRS Express 300 at Autodrome Chaudière.
Dave, in qualifying, this field was so tight. Thousands of a second separate most of these drivers.
And before we get things underway, let's take a look at the E3 Spark Plugs race analysis.
300 laps the distance in this quarter-mile oval. It's 75 miles distance. We've mentioned it's high-banked and perfect weather conditions, Dave.
It is a really great day as the Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat leads the field here at Autodrome Chaudière. Everybody at the edge of the seat as we take a look at the Leland lead up to the green. There's a good look at the 22 of Donald Teague making his 4th NASCAR Pinty Series start. It's the first for him on an oval, but he has lots of laps here in an ACT car. The team suspected a clutch issue when they gridded the car. The 22 Racing guys thrashed away, replacing that clutch. Teague, 5th place spot no longer as he has to move to the back for the start here today.
That's a long way to go, and for a driver without a lot of experience in these cars, the thing you've got to worry about is going a lap down early.
You know, but he's got a lot of late model experience, and that'll play in his favor here today as the field lines up side by side, looking for the green flag here at Autodrome Chaudière. It's up, and we're underway in the CRS Express 300.
A bit of a ragged start. A couple of cars really lost ground at the back of the field, Dave, but at the front, Alex Labbe on the inside in the 32. Kaiden Lapcevich not giving an inch on the high side.
And this is what is so great about this racetrack. It's a short quarter mile, but look at how racy it is. We're side by side through one full lap, now into the second one.
And that's no surprise, as you said, lots of room to work, but still these drivers want to get into their groove, get single file, and lay down some laps. 300 laps, a long time.
On board the Ohsweken Speedway, number 76 of Kaiden Lapcevich.
Now we'll have a look back from Alex Labbe's onboard camera. What a great view that gives us. If I'm not mistaken, a little bit of tire smoke further back. We got some rubbing going on.
Yeah, you see the third place car is the number 47, the WeatherTech Dodge of LP Dumoulin, and just in behind him is the number 18 of Alex Tagliani, coming off his first win in his first race of 2016.
The leaders had sorted themselves out, but now Kaiden Lapcevich fighting back on the inside, just can't get the throttle down, Dave.
Lapcevich looking racy on the inside. He did so well at Sunset Speedway, led so many laps in that event, came home second eventually behind the 18 of Alex Tagliani, looking to move up to the top step of the podium for the first time in his NASCAR Pinty Series career, and here he goes for the lead.
He's got a great drive on the bottom. Noses ahead of Labbe coming out of the corner there. He's got to clear him and get up in front so we can use the whole racetrack.
The Can-Am Ford Fusion, the number 32 of Alex Labbe, sticking on the outside and holding that line. It's not an easy pass for Kaiden Lapcevich, and now he finally completes it, and Labbe will tuck in behind in second.
We spoke about it in the lead up to the show here, Dave. Andrew Ranger tied for the lead in points with Kaiden Lapcevich. This is not a pit stop race. It's a halftime break race. Qualifying up front is a big advantage for Kaiden.
And leading laps is also a big advantage for Kaiden as we see some contact.
Here by 2 back to the 95.
Between the 1 of Larry Jackson, the 95 of Anthony Simoni. We mentioned that leading a lap for Kaiden Lapcevich is bonus points.
Bonus points for sure, and they're starting to get things sorted out, and Simoni clears Larry Jackson and immediately got loose in the corner.
On board the number 74 of Kevin Lacroix, currently sitting in 9th spot, trying to keep his nose clean in behind the number 1 of Larry Jackson.
And we've got 6th place all the way back to about 12th, nose to tail. So if you do get rooted up out of the groove, you're going to lose a handful of spots.
And especially since those tires are not so new anymore, it may not be as easy to stick up on the outside.
10th place is Gary Clute in the Pioneer Pools, number 59. Right behind him, Mark Dilley in the 02.
They said that Kevin Lacroix was trying to keep his nose dirty. Now he's looking to muddy it up a little bit as he tucks right underneath the 1 of Larry Jackson as we watch that battle out the front windshield of the 02 of Mark Dilley.
You know that when even Mark Dilley is getting in there and really bumping and grinding early in the race, it's got to be physical. He's one of those drivers that likes to hang out for most of the race and not really push the envelope, but they've got to go because of the pace these leaders are setting.
Well, that's the thing with such a short lap time. The leaders will be into lap traffic in no time since they have clean air in front of them. The rest of the field has to pick it up.
Side-by-side battle for 4th. We saw it looking back from that onboard. And Kaiden Lapcevich leads the way here at Chaudière.
The CRS Express 300 from Vallée-Jonction, Quebec is brought to you by Mopar, authentic performance. By Leland Industries, a proud Canadian fastener company. And by Honeygoo, by CleanFlow, a honey of a lube. Continuing to click off laps under green and when you run laps of 13 seconds, they tick off quickly. During that break, though, the 32 of Alex Lebe took the lead from Keaton Lapcevich. Dumoulin still sits in third. Andrew Ranger is now settled into fourth spot.
Dave, last week at Sunset Speedway, it wasn't a huge deal because we knew the teams were going to make a pit stop for fuel and at least one more for tires, so things would cycle through. This week, it's 300 laps, and there's basically a halftime break around lap 150 where they'll all go into the pits, take on 2 tires and fuel. They'll come out in the same order they went in. So track position right now is key.
And that's great for the teams because there's no pressure during that stop, no speed pressure. You can make the changes you need.
A few surprises here early on. Larry Jackson in the Canada's Best Racing Team, Pilati #1, struggling a little bit with the handling on that car. He's already gone a lap down, and here we see David Michaud being overtaken by Alex Lebe. He's going to go a lap down as well.
And Michaud in 13th spot. You saw that car get pretty crooked. And there's Teague sliding up the racetrack a little bit. Contact with the 95 of Anthony Simoni as Mark Dilley in the Johnsonville Leland 02 is in there as well.
We talked about it earlier. You get up out of the racing groove, you're likely going to get freight trained, especially when the drivers you're racing with are Kennington, the 22 of Teague, and the 02 of Mark Dilley. They're not going to miss an opportunity.
That's out of the back bumper of the 17 Castrol Edge Dodge of DJ Kennington. Kennington currently in 8th spot, but what a great look.
And Kennington's gone up to the high side. He's running a higher groove than anybody else. The leaders are running right down along the yellow, but he knows it's a long race. If he can conserve brakes and conserve those left side tires, they got to run 300 laps on the same left side tires. It'll be to his advantage in the closing laps.
Good run being put in there by that man, former series champion in the WeatherTech.ca number 47, LP Dumoulin. Struggled in the first 2 races of the season so far.
Yeah, by his standards, he certainly has really looking to come out of the box this week and gain some ground.
Mark Dilley drives it in a ton underneath the 22 of Donald Teague. Can make it stick. Teague doing pretty well up on that outside groove as the leader continues to work through lap traffic. Doesn't matter, high or low, Alex Lebe is making the moves.
That battle we were just watching is just in front of Lebe. Contact between David Michaud and Anthony Simoni, and he's not done. Michaud giving him another push.
Michaud not letting him off the hook is Simoni, and now Michaud separated in the corner. Probably wise for David Michaud to go way high, but Simoni was in 12th as the leader was going by. Now the leader working on 11th place, Gary Kloot.
Tough break for Keaton Lapcevich in the 76. He's bottlenecked behind that. Look what's going on behind him.
Battle for 3rd spot, and you have Andrew Ranger up on the outside in the Mopar Dodge in the 27, and he'll take over that position from LP Dumoulin. Contact between Dumoulin and Alex Tagliani.
Tagliani looked like might be trying to get back to the rear bumper of Dumoulin. Let's have another look.
Well, there you see Dumoulin get a little bit crossways, and he slid off the racetrack, gathering it back up. The 18 was already there.
It's a quarter-mile oval track, Dave. That's what the bumpers are on these cars for. That's what we love watching it for. It's physical racing.
Should mention, too, the 25 of Josh Collins in his 2nd start of the 2016 season, currently sitting in 14th spot as we ride on board Jason Hathaway in the Ray Bestis Brakes number 3. Sitting in 6th position is Hathaway.
Keaton Lapcevich now with some clear racetrack. He's cleared those lap cars. Andrew Ranger in the Mopar 27 running in the 3rd spot, trying to track down the youngster in the 76.
Just listen to Andrew Ranger. Gingerly on the throttle. He knows this is a long one. He's trying to save those rear tires in the Mopar Pennzoil Dodge.
He's doing the same thing as teammate DJ Kennington did, heading up to the outside groove, trying to conserve his equipment. And look, here we go with the battle again. Kennington, Dilley, Donald Teague.
Battle for 9th spot between Teague and the 02 there of Mark Dilley. And Dilley again tries to pin it down on the yellow line. And now we have caution. You saw the yellow flashing light. And the 3 with damage. Jason Hathaway with trouble, big damage to the left front corner of that Chevrolet.
That's significant damage all the way across the front end of that race car. And Kevin Lacroix with some damage on the right side. Let's see what happened.
And it looks like Hathaway might have not seen the 74 get underneath him.
Oh, and all the damage happens after that spin. Watch as Lacroix goes down the inside, but there's no damage from this contact. That's the contact that does it, ripping the right side of Lacroix's car and the front end of Hathaway's car all to pieces.
Even worse, the left front wheel took a significant hit. You saw it stop spinning there for a little bit, but Jason Hathaway continues on the racetrack for now. We'll take a quick break with Alex Labbé, your race leader. Welcome back to race number 3 in the NASCAR Pinty Series. We're at Autodrome Chaudière for the CRS Express 300 as we get set for restart number 1 on lap 99.
10 cars on the lead lap, Dave. Gary Clute in the 59 got the free pass, and Kevin Lacroix in the 74 was penalized by NASCAR for rough driving.
And after that penalty, he sits in 15th spot. But back in command of this one, it's the number 32 of Alex Labbé. He's from nearby Victoriaville, Quebec. This is pretty much his home track. It's in front of his hometown crowd and looking to put on a show, and he's doing exactly that.
Oh, contact. Alex Tagliani up the racetrack. He and LP Dumoulin have been going at it the entire race.
3 wide deeper in the field, and you can see the Ray Bestis Chevrolet number 3. Jason Hathaway still that damage to the nose, but he stayed out on the speedway.
And even though Andrew Ranger took over that second spot, he didn't close the door on Lapcevich. He chose to stay up high. Mark Dilley went around going into turn 1. We are not going under yellow, it would appear. He's got to get up to speed in a hurry.
And he is trying to do that. You see the black marks as he lays down the power through the turns, and Mark Dilley has to get going because the leaders are on the same straightaway. Here comes Labbé. We'll have another look at what happened to the driver in the Leland 02.
Wow, on board, coming off the corner. Either a little too much throttle or he got jacked up from behind. Thankfully, there wasn't much behind him to cause him any more trouble.
He tucks down to the inside because the leaders are going around up high, and that puts the 02 of Mark Dilley, the Johnsonville Ford Fusion, 1 lap down, now in 15th spot.
Side by side, LP Dumoulin in the 47, and look at Hathaway in that Choco number 3. The car seems no worse for wear as they battle for the 7th spot.
And you can see the 47 getting down, almost touching the rumble strips, maybe leaning on him just a little bit.
And we get a good look here, Dave, at the cool air box that sits behind the driver, and there's a hose into the helmet, so they're always breathing in nice, cool air.
Hathaway is banging off those rumble strips. You saw it from the onboard shot, just a bump as he gets back on the gas.
I don't know if this is what he's doing, but we've seen over the years at some racetracks, the drivers will turn down onto the apron of the track, and it actually de-wedges the car, and it'll help it turn in the center of the corner. Not sure if that's what he meant to do. Maybe it just turned too hard for him.
One driver who is far away from that rumble strip is the 27 of Andrew Ranger, way up in that outside groove, but he seems to have found a home there, running in second spot, chasing down Labbé, and that's a place we often see the number 27 of Andrew Ranger on the ovals. He gets up on the outside and saves his tires for the long run. As his team watches on, so does a crew of Alex Labbé, and Labbé is in command. You're riding on board the Ohsweken Speedway, number 76 of Caden Lapcevich as he battles alongside, almost alongside, the number 27 of the Mopar Dodge of Andrew Ranger for second spot. Remember, these two came into this race tied in points.
And you can see where Lapcevich really needs the whole racetrack to get on the throttle, so he's not able to get up underneath the 27 of Ranger in a straight line, but he can in the center of the turn.
There is Donald Teague, 5th spot for the number 22. That's a little bit surprising in his first start on an oval in the NASCAR Pinty Series. The 17 to DJ Kennington in 6th as we ride on board.
You know, it doesn't hurt when you're driving Scott Steckley's number 22 machine. That is a well-prepared race car for Donald Teague, and he's doing a nice job behind the wheel. And
Steckley has been out testing that vehicle as well, so you know it's very good. Jason Hathaway on board as he sits in 7th.
Alex Labbé out in front. He's on cruise control right now. He's led about 110 laps. This will be his 110th lap led of this race, and he's out in front as comfortable as can be, Dave.
And just 9 cars left on the lead lap. You can find out where your favorite driver is running. The WeatherTech Canada ticker across the top of your screen. Find out how far behind they are from the leader as well.
Alex Tagliani starting to close in on Andrew Ranger and Caden Lapcevich. That'll make that a 3-car battle for the second spot.
Not really a shock to see the driver in the EpiPen Chevy starting to gain momentum through the middle portion of long runs. That's what Alex Tagliani does on the ovals.
He's really good at finding where that race car will work for him. Look at this. Alex Labbe going to go around Larry Jackson in the number 1. That'll put Jackson 2 laps down.
Yeah, struggling today in 14th spot in the Pilati Ford. Larry Jackson coming off such a great run at Sunset Speedway as Alex Labbe giving a little thank you back to the driver of the one.
You know, when a driver does give the leader plenty of room to make that move, it really is appreciated. What I'm trying to learn is if Labbe is tipping his head to the left or if that headrest is actually pushing his head to keep it upright in the car.
There's that battle for second spot between Andrew Ranger and Caden Lapcevich, the youngster, just 16 years old in the 76, looking on the inside, while the veteran in the number 27, Andrew Ranger, holding that outside groove.
Alex Labbe clears the 59 at Gary Clute to put him back a lap down. He just received the free pass after that last yellow. And look at Ranger and Lapcevich. Neither driver looked like they're overdriving the race car, but their lines continue to overlap in the corners.
And as these drivers start to catch the lap traffic just in front of them, you see Labbe has made his way through 3 lap cars, and now these drivers are all single file, nose to tail, and just on the back bumper of that lap car of Larry Jackson. Now Jackson will tuck it to the inside, but you have Gary Clute up on the outside. It's a logjam.
Oh, it sounds great out there, Dave. Larry Jackson staying to the inside. Andrew Ranger's right at home on the outside, but Caden Lapcevich, forget that noise. I'm going to stay to the bottom.
Well, that's where that 76 has been working very, very well today. Now a battle a little bit deeper in the field. The number 3 of Jason Hathaway and the 47 of Dumoulin side by side for 7th.
We are at the halfway point, 150 laps down. The yellow flag will be thrown at any time now by race director Trevor Hambly. The field will be frozen where it runs.
And Tagliani down to the inside. That's the 95 of Anthony Simoni, a lap down, and he's to the inside of Caden Lapcevich.
Tagliani with the advantage through 1 and 2. Lapcevich way up the racetrack.
That's a battle for 3rd spot, and Tagliani will take it over. And we've got the caution now as NASCAR making the announcement that'll freeze the field before that lap or that pass counts.
Right, it freezes the field. The previous completed lap, I believe we're going to see Caden Lapcevich get his spot back, Dave.
And Tagliani has to be heartbroken because he worked so hard for that. But Sean Gibbs waved the green for the start of the CRS Express 300. 23-year-old Alex Labbe at the point. The first caution came out because of the 74 of Kevin Lacroix tangling with the 3 of Jason Hathaway. And then as the sun started to dip behind the hills of Vallée-Jonction, Quebec, we get set to start the second half of the race. But first, pit stops.
The way this works, once the final car stops, the teams are allowed to go to work. They can put fuel in the car, and then they can put 2 tires. It doesn't say where they have to put the 2 tires. Good. Experience would tell us the right side is probably where it'll be, but we understand some chassis adjustments coming up for some of these teams, Dave.
Well, the number 32 of Alex Labbe likes his car right now. He likes the feel of it. He's just asking for a few minor changes. The 76 of Caden Lapcevich needs his car to be freed up just a little bit. And the crew going to work on the 27 of Andrew Ranger. And the rest of the field getting some minor tweaks and tunes as we continue on our pit stops. Welcome back to the CRS Express 300. I'm Dave Bradley. Joining me in the booth is Adam Ross, and trackside is Tanya Baudet as we call all the action. The halfway break is done. We're preparing to go back to green. Mark Dilley in the 02 getting the free pass under that caution.
Alex Labbe gets a great restart on the bottom, but look at Andrew Ranger roll the outside.
And we should mention, too, that the 59 of Gary Clute changing a rear gear in the pits came into this one 6th in points.
That's a big moment right there for Andrew Ranger. He leads a lap, gets those bonus points that'll match him up with what Caden Lapcevich did early in this race.
Whatever the crew did to that number 27 Mopar Dodge, it has worked. He powered around the outside groove, and now into the lead is Alex Labbe in the number 32 Can-Am Ford Fusion. Sits in second, Caden Lapcevich hanging on in third.
One thing impressive with Alex Labbe in the 32, he's working with crew chief Ron Easton this weekend. Mario Gosselin has worked with him at some races. This weekend he had another commitment, so Ron Easton on top of the pit box along with Dave Jacobs helping make decisions with Alex Labbe.
And Labbe still searching for his very first NASCAR Pinty Series win. Will it come here? You don't know. He's been so strong in qualifying over the last couple of years, but he hasn't yet sealed the deal during a race.
It's a matter of time, Dave, that's for sure. But look at the ponies coming out from under the hood of that number 27 Mopar machine of Andrew Ranger.
And Mopar in heavy development with a new motor program as well, so that may benefit the number 27 of Andrew Ranger as you look a little bit deeper in the field. Another Mopar, the 17 of DJ Kennington, battling alongside a Chevy in the 3. Jason Hathaway for 6th spot.
Just ahead of them, Donald Teague, a little bit loose under acceleration off the corner, but that 22 car still getting around the ends pretty darn well.
And you can see the number 18, the EpiPen Chevy, Alex Tagliani in there as well. As we got problems on the front straightaway, the 74 and the 25 Collins, and Kevin Lacroix, that's going to bring out the caution.
Josh Collins might be able to stay on the lap if he can get that car rolling quick enough. I believe he did, Dave. Stay out ahead of the leader. We know Kevin Lacroix got out ahead of the leader there. Let's have another look. We're going on board the Kevin Lacroix number 74.
And it looks like Collins may have had some help from the 95 of Anthony Simoni. Spins right in front of the 74. So caution flag waves. Andrew Ranger is your race leader. Rolling up to the 3rd restart of the evening here in Vallée-Jonction, Quebec, as the pace car hits pit lane. Andrew Ranger and Alex Labbé will lead him onto the front stretch. We're back underway.
They charge down into turn number 1. Ranger with a great hole shot in front of a huge crowd here, Dave.
Look at how high he goes up in the corner on that restart, but Labbé can't quite take advantage on the inside. He'll hang down low, and now he'll tuck in behind the 27.
On board the Oswego Speedway, number 76, Alexovich. He's battling with Tagliani in the EpiPen 18.
This is something they did for many, many laps at Sunset Speedway, and Tagliani nearly lost it off of turn number 4.
Well, Hathaway wanted that pass finished in a hurry. He got Tagliani out of his way pretty good there.
Donald Teague also took advantage in the number 22 as he slipped by. Now Tagliani settled back in the Cantork number 18.
LP Dumoulin was so strong early in the race. He's battling deeper in the top 10 right there. Now DJ Kennington in the 17, all over the back bumper of Tagliani.
There you see how many cars fighting for position, all using different lines. On this racetrack, the 32 of Alex Labbé tucks down low, Ranger up high, and look at Lapsevich right underneath the back bumper of that Can-Am Ford.
We're on board with Jason Hathaway in the Choco number 3. But Dave, you know what I haven't seen out of Alex Labbé all night long? Any sense of urgency. He's just cruising around in that race car. We haven't seen him get physical. There's not a mark on that race car.
No, and just now you start to see that right front brake rotor a little bit glowing, meaning he's starting to lean on it just a little bit more. But he's used to long races. He runs a late model in the ACT series. They run 100 laps or more almost every other weekend, and he's dominant in that series. So he's good in long races.
And here's rookie driver Caden Lapsevich running right behind that lead duo, using all the racetrack. And what that does, it lets him save as much tire, as much brake as he can. He doesn't need to commit to the bottom or the top. Let those two duke it out, and he can just run his line for a while.
And we've talked about the maturity of young Caden Lapsevich, again, just 16 years old. We talk about it in his interviews as he touches the back bumper of Labbé in the 32, and now will take advantage of that open door and stuff the Oswego Speedway number 76 to the inside. But Caden Lapsevich is a very mature race car driver as well.
And he's got a savvy spotter and his crew chief father, Jeff Lapsevich, probably on the radio right now saying, hey, the 3 cars coming in a hurry, so let's make a move, let's do something, but make sure that you're on the wheel.
There they go side by side down the back straightaway. Jason Hathaway hanging with them, and the 22 of Donald Teague in there as well. 185 laps in the books of a scheduled 300, and they continue to go door to door.
Lapsevich really hooking the inside. That car is rolling through the center beautifully.
There is the rumble strips once again. I think it might have caught Jason Hathaway a little bit off guard that time as he slid up the racetrack just a little bit.
It's hard to say. That 3 car, lots of physical damage on it. Not as pretty as when it started the night, but it sure is fast.
And Lapsevich finally gets past the 32, or does he, as Labbé comes back on the high side. Still, everybody chasing the number 27 of Andrew Ranger. But you know what? We should underline here, as those two were battling side by side, Ranger was not able to get away.
No, he really wasn't. Just like earlier on before the midway break, he'd run that outside groove without gaining a lot and without losing a lot, but he was saving a lot.
There you look back a little bit to the 3-car of Jason Hathaway, who's very, very crooked on the outside of the 22 of Donald T. Alex Tagliani has gathered it back up and is headed back towards the front in his Chevrolet as it's settled down, working the inside groove nicely.
And Alex Tagliani, if his spotter reminds him, hey, that 3-car just moved you pretty good a few laps ago, so feel free if the need arises.
That may have been the old Alex Tagliani, much calmer behind the wheel. As we have problems, the 95 of Anthony Simoni and the 25 of Josh Collins. Obviously, caution flag flies, but Simoni broke and laid a lot of oil down to the racetrack.
Did you see Gloria hanging the NASCAR official with the red flag in the pits, right where Anthony Simoni came to rest, waving the flag, almost as might shoo the car away?
Big damage, though. Have a look at this hit.
Well, Simoni, obviously a motor problem there. Fluid on the racetrack. Josh Collins comes in. Pretty significant damage as he takes it into the attention of the crew.
The driver from Placentia, Newfoundland, driving the Ed Collins construction. Number 25 crew goes to work. Hopefully we'll get that repaired as the driver of the 95, Anthony Simoni, will need a lift. But there's your race leader, Andrew Ranger. Getting set for restart number 4 here on lap 213. It's race number 3 in the NASCAR Pinty's Series in 2016 on TSN. Andrew Ranger is your race leader, and he'll bring them slowly through turn number 4. Caden Lapcevich on the inside. Green flag is up. We're back underway.
Big problem for Ranger trying to get up to speed. That car kicked way loose on him, but Caden Lapcevich couldn't take advantage. He will slot up in line in the second spot.
And you can see the speedy dry on the speedway. Both the 95 of Anthony Simoni and the 25 of Josh Collins unable to restart, just too heavily damaged to both cars.
Yeah, tough break for those drivers, but what a battle we have at the front of this one. Andrew Ranger's still running the outside groove, even though half the racetrack coated with speedy dry up on the outside lane, Dave.
Doesn't seem to mind. He has some dirt track knowledge. He did a little bit of ice racing in his early career as well, and he's doing okay up in that high groove. Just 9 cars left on the lead lap.
Donald T jumping to the 3rd spot, gets around the outside of Alex Labbé. So Teague getting closer and closer to the front. Remember, he had to start this race at the tail end of the field because they replaced the clutch.
On board, Jason Hathaway. Lots of tape on the nose of that car, but it's holding together well. He's inside the top 5.
Well, the speeds aren't so great at this racetrack where the tape will really be upset too much. As long as they've got it fast and pretty good there, he should be all right to go the distance.
Good look at the 0-2, the Leland Ford of Mark Dilley as he battles alongside the 17. Castro Lance Dodge of DJ Kennington for 7th.
You can hear just off the corner where the car wants to break traction. That's where the drivers really have to be easy on that gas pedal, Dave.
And as the sun goes down here at Autodrome Chaudière, the track surface is going to change. It's going to start to cool down, and that will affect the handling of these race cars.
And from the last race of the first half of this event to after that midway break, the temperatures probably changed 15 degrees, I bet.
So it'll make the drivers a little bit more comfortable inside these machines. It may not make the machines that much more comfortable on the racetrack itself. As look at Ranger up on the outside. He goes around in a cloud of smoke to Lopar. Dodge goes for a loop, and we're under caution once again.
He was all by himself in the high groove, Dave.
That may have been that speedy dry that he got into. Have a look.
Yeah, he started to break traction. You could hear that halfway through the corner and just never regained control to the point where he had to stomp on the throttle and spin that car around.
His crew chief, Dave White, looking on as Andrew Ranger will tag back on. No real damage to the 27, but it hands the lead to Caden Lapcevich. And welcome back to Autodrome Chaudière in the CRS Express 300 as we get set for restart number 5 in the NASCAR Pinty's Series. Caden Lapcevich will lead him onto the front straightaway and back to green.
A little bit of contact between Tagliani and Hathaway, and I got to chuckle at that restart. We've seen Casey Kane at the front of a lot of NASCAR races, but never his face on the hood of a race car like we see with Caden Lapcevich.
Smiling on the hood as as Caden Lapcevich gives Kasey Kahne a great run. Of course, Kahne going to run a World of Outlaws sprint car race at Ohsweken Speedway. So a little bit of advertising for that race, backing the youngster, the 76 of Caden Lapcevich.
And what a great race to get on board. Caden's been at or near the front of this field for the entire race. Great exposure for Ohsweken Speedway and their event with Kasey Kahne.
You know, I'm going to say it, I'm a little bit shocked to see the 22 this far up in the field this late in that race. We knew it was a good car, we knew the driver is good, but would he stay there? That was the big question, and he is staying there. So we got side-by-side battles deeper in the field.
Mark Dilley, the experienced veteran underneath the 3 of Jason Hathaway, twice a winner at this racetrack. That's a battle for the 5th position.
And there is Alex Tagliani alongside the 22 of Donald Teague for 3rd spot. Give it to Tagliani in the EpiPen Chevy.
Both of those cars prepared out of the Steckley Stables in Milverton, Ontario. Fairly evenly matched, I'd say, Dave.
Now Tagliani just ducks underneath, and Teague slots in behind the 22 going for owner's points this year. And you can see a little bit further back, battle for 5th spot between the 3 and the 0-2 Hathaway and Dilley.
The battle out in front, Caden Lapcevich running the inside of the racetrack. We can see Alex Labbé exploring different lines. He's going to come right down to the bottom on the yellow line here. But last lap around, he was about a lane off the bottom of the racetrack, Dave.
Well, you talked about this earlier. We never really saw much urgency for the driver of the Kappa number 32 of Alex Labbé. He better find some urgency now as the laps are ticking down.
Well, and that's what these drivers realize as well. Kennington, Ranger, LP Dumoulin in the 47. I believe right behind them is Kevin Lacroix, who got the most recent free pass. He's had an eventful night.
He really has. The 47 of LP Dumoulin tucks to the inside, that last shot. There is the 17 of DJ Kennington battling alongside his teammate, the 27 of Andrew Ranger. Remember, Ranger came to this one tied in points.
And that, whoa, contact. That's a good close look at the Dumoulin 47. And around goes the 17 of Kennington.
And a big push out of Dumoulin on the back bumper, the Castrol Edge Dodge. Kennington will grab a gear and get going. No caution.
We're going to go back on board looking back from Kennington 17, and that was a long time to be on someone's bumper there.
Not on the bumper, lifting up the back bumper as you hear the tires just screaming for traction from the Castrol Edge Dodge. There's a battle for 7th now.
We're getting word. Yep, there's the black flag. We heard it over the one-way radio. LP Dumoulin being called to the pit, and this is huge because there is no pit road here, so he's going to have to loop up and off the racetrack. He'll lose at least a lap.
Oh, at least a lap, maybe even more than that as the leaders continue at speed. Caden Lapcevich, Alex Labbé, and now Alex Tagliani. Those are your top 3 drivers right now, and they're really not that far apart.
No, and I would say those are the 3 cars on the racetrack with the fewest marks on them, Dave. These guys have done a great job conserving their equipment, but now it's time to go. This is the run to the checkers.
Donald Teague and the number 22 having a great race from Wacatel, Quebec, driving the Aime Levis number 22, a side-by-side battle. These two have been going at it for quite a while, battling for that 5th spot. Mark Dilley was once 2 laps down in that Leland 0-2. He's back up on the lead lap and battling for 5th. That's a pretty good day.
We're on board with Jason Hathaway at the start of the race. You could read his eyes. You could look into the helmet of Hathaway. Now the sun's gone down. They're racing under the lights, but I can bet he's still calm behind the wheel.
Fighting that car a little bit on the outside. You saw it get a little bit out of shape, but there, contact for the race lead. Labbé on the inside of the 76 of Caden Lapcevich.
We're down to the final 23 laps of this one. They're door handle to door handle at the start-finish line.
And Labbé almost leading on the 76 again, but Caden Lapcevich battling him up on the outside. The Dodge versus Ford battle for the lead here at Autodrome Chaudière.
They have not made much contact, if any, maybe a little touch. Oh, Lapcevich was looking to get back to the inside, and Alex Tagliani went to fill the hole. There was a little bit of contact.
Anything you can do, I can do better, says Caden Lapcevich as he gives the 32 a shove out of the way. Labbé's now up on the outside groove, and here comes Lapcevich down low.
Let's see if Lapcevich shows the same respect to Labbé that he showed to him, running on the inside without really driving him up the racetrack.
20 laps to go, under 20 now. 19 that last time by. It is go time. Caden Lapcevich in the Dodge on the inside. The Ohsweken Weekend Speedway sponsor number 76 and the Can-Am sponsor number 32 of Alex Labbé upstairs. Alex Tagliani almost made it 3 wide down low.
And there's a battle for 5th and behind them with Dilly in the 0-2, the 3 of Hathaway. But who can look away from this battle for the lead? 2 young Lions looking for their first career win. 23-year-old Alex Labbé, 16-year-old Caden Lapcevich.
And another bump out of Caden Lapcevich, just enough to upset that race car and move the 32 up half a lane. And here comes Lapcevich down low, but Labbé so strong up in that outside groove.
Labbé able to run the high side, carry that momentum. Lapcevich really has to hit his marks to avoid sliding up into the 32. Both of them using their brakes so much they're glowing red.
And Alex Tagliani is just sitting there waiting for somebody to do something, and he can just reap the rewards here. But right now, these two drivers are going at it hard, but racing as clean as he can on a quarter-mile racetrack.
Dave Tagliani might be in the catbird seat right now. He's just got to sit back, let these two youngsters do their thing, and he can capitalize here and get his second straight win.
And there's another little bump from the youngster, Caden Lapcevich, in the 76. But it's not enough that time. The 32 of Labbé able to get back down low. Lapcevich has a nose going into one, but he can't make it stick.
Here goes Tagliani to the outside. He's got track position on the high side. Now it's a battle for second.
A 3-horse race at the front of the CRS Express 300 at Autodrome Chaudière.
Don't look now, but here comes Donald Teach in the 22 to make it a 4-car race.
If you had a blanket, you could throw it all over these top 4 cars. 10 laps to go this time by.
If you're a company man, Dave, we've got Ford, we've got Dodge, we've got Chevrolet. Which one's quicker?
Whose logo's on your hat? Right now it is the Ford of Alex Labbé in front, but here comes the Dodge of Caden Lapcevich back down to that yellow line on the inside.
Lapcevich got a great run off the bottom that time. All the way up to the front bumper. They're door-to-door down the back stretch and into 3.
Tagliani can choose lanes. He's going high, he's going low. He's trying to find out which groove is going to work. Lapcevich knows is in front that time.
Bit of an advantage for Caden Lapcevich. Tagliani, now the sense of urgency's on him because here's Donald Teach in behind.
Now Tagliani won't have the ability to choose that lane. He'll have to stick to one and some contact down the straightaway between Lapcevich and Labbé.
I think Lapcevich got the worst of that. He got spit down the racetrack, had an awkward entry into that corner, but it didn't seem to hurt his speed.
Look at them leaning on each other, or almost leaning on each other. Now Labbé takes over top spot. He was leading by a nose at the line.
I don't even know how many lead changes we've seen in the last 15 laps, but it's more than a handful.
Oh, I would say a dozen or so as we come up to 5 laps to go now. And this has been the edge of your seat for the last 15 laps and more contact.
That's about the hardest contact we've seen. We're starting to see donuts on the side of these race cars. It's go time. 4 more laps.
Oh, it's all out the window now. Who needs to save those fenders? You're going for your first race win if you're Alex Labbé or if you're Caden Lapcevich.
Or Donald Teach. 3 out of 4 have never won in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
Oh, Tagliani got crossed up there in 3rd spot. That opens up that outside groove for Teague. But it's Labbé up on the outside, trying to battle back. Lapcevich had the lead the last time by. We're coming up to 2 laps to go.
2 laps this time, and it's Alex Labbé by 2 feet at the stripe. Noses up in front down into turn 1.
Unbelievable finish to the CRS Express 300 at Autodrome Chaudière. Labbé in control up on the outside groove. 1 lap to go. A quarter of a mile here in Valley-Jonction, Quebec.
And
Lapcevich down low.
Drives it up the inside. He's got 1 more chance. A little bit of contact, Dave.
Will he push him in 4? No, he doesn't. He gets crossed up. Labbé's going to win his first. Lapcevich will come home second, and Tagliani rounds out the top 3.
That might be the best short track race we've ever seen in this series, Dave.
That was unbelievable racing from a couple youngsters. Alex Labbé waves his hand out the window to his hometown crowd. He doesn't even know if he won.
The crowd is going insane. He's from about 30 kilometers down the road in Victoriaville. They're going nuts here for their hometown boy.
And he'll celebrate with a half donut, pick up the checkered flag. You deserve this victory lap, my friend.
The best part of this race, they made contact, they rubbed, they knocked each other a little bit, but nobody took each other out. That's what short track racing is all about.
That's NASCAR racing in the NASCAR Pinty's Series here in Canada. When we return, we'll chat with your race winner, Alex Labbé, as he celebrates here on the front straightaway. Welcome back to Autodrome Chaudière. Adam, we barely caught our breath, but the celebration is just starting in Victory Lane.
Dave, we've seen thousands of races. I've never seen a race better than this one we just watched.
And you know what? This is going to be a great interview. Let's go down to Tanya, who's standing by with your race winner. Tanya?
A bit of victory here. Alex, we talked about bad luck. We talked about bad luck. I think it's finished, Trey.
Yeah, that was a hard race. I mean, Kaden didn't give it to me. Hazy was, I mean, real short track racing. I can't believe it. That was a hell of a race. That was awesome.
Well, congratulations.
And that is really all you can say about that race with Kaden Lapcevich.
An unbelievable finish. We'll remember the top two forever. Some good runs. David Michaud with a solid top 10 in that number 56.
And Mark Dilley, as we mentioned, battling that fifth spot for a long time with a 3 of Hathaway, and he comes home with a number 5 position. Let's go back down with Tanya.
Kaden, one of the best races we've seen in the NASCAR Canada Series. Podium, congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a great race. We beat and banged doors for the last 20 laps or whatever. You know, I'd like to lose like that, losing a hard-fought battle, not just give one away like we did last week at Sunset. So, you know, we're gonna come back and we're gonna win one of these things hopefully. And you know, I couldn't have got here without all my sponsors. You know, I gotta thank Ohsweken Speedway for coming on late in the week, helping us get here. Springer's Meats, Cathcart Trucking, Troy Cove Marine, Epic Racewear, Mom and Dad. You know, we're doing a lot of this out of our own pocket, and it's hard. But to get me race to race, it's you know, I'm just blessed to have the opportunity that I do.
And he will get one of these very soon, but he's already got the points lead.
6 points out in front. Larry Jackson still in the top 5. My favorite part about Kaden Lapcevich is how disappointed he is with second.
And he is the youngest points leader ever in NASCAR Pinty's Series history. And there you see, collecting the hardware is Alex Labbé on the top step of the podium.
Dave, nobody has left the racetrack. There's still thousands of people standing at the fence.
Boy, it's going to be a party tonight. This NASCAR on TSN telecast has been brought to you by E3 Spark Plugs, Born to Burn, and by Pinty's, making great food fun. And there you see Dave Jacobs and the Go Fast Race team celebrating in Victory Lane. They earned that number 1 here today. The next race, the Echo 100 at Circuit iCar, back on the road course, as we mentioned. From all of us at Fuel Media Lab, we'll see you there.
This copyrighted telecast.
Speedways. This is Sunset Speedway, and we're getting set for 300 laps of lightning fast racing.
Last time out, Alex Tagliani broke records and schooled the field as he took the win at NASCAR's first trip to this 1/3 of a mile speed plan. Now the series has hauled its way back to the gateway to Cottage Country for what promises to be a bump and grind affair as the NASCAR Pinty's Series gets back to its short track roots. As the summer racing season heats up, so does NASCAR racing on TSN. This is race number 2 of the 2016 NASCAR Pinty's Series. We're in Innisfil, Ontario for the Leland Industries 300 presented by Dickies. Hello everyone and welcome to a beautiful evening here at Sunset Speedway. I'm Dave Bradley. Along with me is Adam Ross. Todd Lewis and Clinton Jeffrey will both be patrolling the pits for us here this evening. But Adam, we move from a really tough road course at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park where Andrew Ranger took the win. He now controls the points lead, to a tight bull ring here at Sunset.
Dave, that's the beauty of this racing series. We go from a complicated road course to a technical street circuit and then right back to a high bank oval. It's all back to back. These teams and these drivers are the most diverse in the country. That's what makes this the best racing series in Canada.
And one driver making his first start here today will be the 02 of Mark Dilley in the Leland Industries Ford. Mark Dilley had an outrageously horrible season last year, but he's the track promoter here at Sunset, and he wants to do well in front of his home crowd.
And this race in particular last year was terrible for Mark Dilley. He wants to do better. The team built him a brand new race car. They're bringing it out tonight.
And you see Leland Industries on the side of that car. We have to thank Byron Nelson from Leland Industries. They built a wonderful Canadian company featuring Canadian fasteners. They sponsor a race team, they sponsor this race, and they sponsor the TV broadcast. They do a lot for Canadian racing, and we thank them very much for that. But we have a big event here today, and with more, let's head it down trackside, starting off with Clinton Jeffrey. Clinton?
Thanks, guys. It's been 4 weeks since the series last race, and there's been a lot of testing going on here at Sunset Speedway. Everyone's very excited to be here. With 2 of the next races being 300 lappers on tracks very similar to this one, you can bet the crew chiefs are ready, the crews are ready, and the drivers are eager to get strapped in. Todd?
That's right, Clinton, and one of those drivers buckling in, our E3 spark plug pole setter, that would be Caden Lapcevich. His first career NASCAR Pinty Series pole. The 16-year-old is having himself a terrific weekend. He won the late model race last night and blistered a new track record earlier today, 14.639 seconds. Some tough competition in today's race. Alongside on the front row is the number 32 of Alex Labbé. Finished 7th in this race last year and looking for a better result tonight. Let's get this party started. We'll go back up the track for the command to fire engines.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Innisfil and Sunset Speedway. Drivers, start your engines.
And the engines come to life as we prepare for 300 hard-fought laps here in the Leland Industries 300 presented by Dickies. There is Dwayne Baker, a great qualifying effort. He was fast in practice too.
And Dave, we've just seen 3 drivers with a ton of success at Sunset Speedway. Dwayne Baker in the 48, Mark Dilley in the 02, of course Caden Lapcevich, and we're going to be on board today with Jason White in the Powder Ventures number 21 as well.
And we'll take a look at tonight's Leland starting lineup as the cars roll off. Caden Lapcevich, as we mentioned, on pole. Alex Labbé in the 32 starting alongside.
Problem for the 3rd place starter Dwayne Baker. That car needing a push to get fired, so not the way he wanted to start his day.
Anthony Simone and Adam Martin, the rookie, making his first start. They make up row number 3.
In row 4, it's Gary Clute in the 59, DJ Kennington in the 17.
Taking a look back to row number 5, there is Mark Dilley in the 02. Alex Tagliani, last year's winner, will have some work to do today.
Starting in the 6th row, Kevin Lacroix in the 74 and Jason Hathaway in the 3.
Row number 7, Larry Jackson in the number 1 today, and Matthew Scannell drives the 56.
A lot of talent deep in the field. Andrew Ranger in the 27 alongside Trevor Siebert in the 69.
And row number 9 has Derek Lynch back behind the wheel at the number 75, and Josh Collins from Newfoundland will start to the outside.
And rounding out the field, Jason White did not get a chance to qualify. That team was doing work on the transmission. He'll start tail.
But he says he has a comfortable car to work with and is looking forward to today's race as we take a look at the E3 Spark Plugs race analysis.
300 laps, 100 miles on the 3rd mile banked oval, 29 degrees and clear skies. They're going to stop for fuel and 2 tires during this race, Dave.
Before we go green, though, let's check in with Todd with tonight's Leland lead up to the green.
A couple of things before we go green, fellas. The number 69 car back with us. Trevor Siebert running his first oval race in 3 years. Said there's no pressure tonight. He's out to shake off the rust and have some fun and likes that approach. We'll see if it results in a decent finish. The 3 car of Jason Hathaway starting back in 12th. Kind of surprised he and the team. Felt the car was great, tested really well. He's not worried about the starting position. What he is concerned about early on, it's a fast track. Does not want to go a lap down and lose track position.
Stay smart, long race, let's keep a left rear on this thing, and let's be here at the end, have a chance to win this thing. Let's go get some.
That's Dave White talking to Andrew Ranger. It's their first time together. Dave White, the crew chief for the 27 team. As we head to the green flag, we're underway in the Leland 300 at Sunset Speedway.
John Brassard, the Member of Parliament for Barrie and Innisfil, waves the green flag over this one.
Up on the outside, Alex Labbé trying to find some grip in that high groove. Caden Lapcevich, though, on the inside, and will be LeBay who will lead lap number 1.
And the outside groove here at Sunset Speedway is beautiful. They've got a lot of room to race, Dave, and early on with cold tires, the outside might even be an advantage.
Now you see the big black marks up in the second groove. That was a drifting demonstration before we went green here for the Leland 300. So the drivers probably want to stay away from that just until all that rubber gets dusted off.
Looks like the top 4 have settled in single file. Top 5 back to Gary Clute, but LP Dumoulin still hung up on the outside, trying to clear the 0-2 of Mark Dilley. Oh, contact in 1.
And we'll probably see a lot of that today as Dilley gets into the WeatherTech.ca number 47 of LP Dumoulin, riding along board the 0-2.
See, and I think Dumoulin got into the 0-2 of Mark Dilley. That's the beauty of racing. We can agree to disagree watching the same thing.
Look at this side-by-side battle, though. A couple of rookies. You've got Adam Martin up on the outside of the 74 of Kevin Lacroix, and Jason Hathaway in there as well. That's a battle for 8th spot.
And he's a pure rookie. His first time ever as Kevin Lacroix smokes the left front brakes. He's the only driver who hasn't got down to the inside yet, being extra cautious out there after starting in row number 3.
And Hathaway, a favorite in this race coming into this, struggled in qualifying. You see DJ Kennington in the Castrol Edge Dodge. He's holding down the 11th spot. Those two drivers deeper in the field after qualifying, but they were up near the top of the speed charts in practice as Hathaway gets very crooked off 4.
He got a big piece of the rumble strip at the bottom of the racetrack, and that really upsets the race car. This is a great view as we look backwards off DJ Kennington. Watch Tagliani down into the corner, gets close to the rumble strips, but if you get up on them, it spits the car right up the racetrack.
Give you an idea of how tight racing is here. You saw the tire mark on the nose of the EpiPen number 18 of Alex Tagliani already, only a handful of laps in.
And you know, it's so hard to see. You talk about blind spots in race cars. Everything to your rear corners is a blind spot. You rely on your spotter, and you rely on that feel from your front and rear quarter panels, Dave.
Nice dice here for 4th spot between Gary Clute and the Pioneer Pools number 59 and the Innovative Plumbing number 95 of Anthony Simone as they go side by side. You'll remember last year Simone's race didn't really last long as he tangled with DJ Kennington, ended up hard in the wall.
They've got a good setup under the race car for Simone this time as we look back from the Pioneer Pools number 59 of Gary Clute. And look at that, Simone looking to the inside of Clute.
There's some home track knowledge at work as Mark Dilley pinches it off of 4, and that's exactly how you can set up a pass here at Sunset Speedway.
Still there.
You get the run on the inside off the corner rather than diving it hard into the turns here at Sunset.
And we're on board with LP Dumoulin running in the 7th position. Wow, Dilley, you can see how hard it is to get on the throttle on the inside of the racetrack. And that's why we see so much side-by-side action here at Sunset.
So Simone up on the outside, he's hanging on there, and it seems as though that outside, just going to say, that outside groove seems to be working as Simone dirt tracks it around 1 and 2, now into 3 and 4, side by side with LP Dumoulin now.
He's putting on a drifting demonstration just like we saw about 20 minutes ago, Dave. That, if you hang the right rear out like that and burn it up, you are not going to last 300 laps. He'll need to make some adjustments on that race car.
And that's a battle for 6th spot, but there is a long way to go, and if history tells us anything, we had a long green flag run last year, so they may not have the opportunity to get that early pit stop to work on that race car and get the setup the way they need it.
Well, and what we learned last year as well, it's not the car that's fast in the first 15 laps. It's a long race, and it is a hot, hot day. It's the car that can maintain its speed the best, and we haven't seen that yet, Dave.
And we should say all of this action a little deeper in the field. Everybody is chasing the number 76 of Caden Lapcevich, who has led nearly since the drop of the initial green. Sat on pole, very comfortable out in front of this field with 22 laps already in the books.
I can see it. Smooth off.
And even the spotters reminding their drivers, be smooth off the corner. You've got to be so ginger on the throttle to save those rear tires for later in the run.
And you have to look at the bumper-to-bumper number 74 of Kevin Lacroix and how well he's doing here today. Remember, he doesn't have a lot of oval experience behind the wheel of these race cars.
Listen to Jason Hathaway. on the throttle trying to get the power down, but you can hear when he tried to drive under the car in front of him, he lit up those rear tires.
There is your race leader, the youngster Caden Lapcevich, comfortably out in front as Lacroix continues the battle with the 0-2 of Mark Dilley. Sparks out of the Leland Industries 0-2 Ford Fusion of Dilley.
And I would have thought we'd see a right front tire down, Dave, but the tire looks to be inflated. We go on board.
You can see Mark Dilley absolutely wrestling this race car, and now he'll pull up into the outside groove because he couldn't get down to pit lane. He knows there's something wrong, waiting for a gap as he tries to head that car down pit lane. Now the caution will fly, and Mark Dilley will take that car to the inside of the speedway and see what is up. But something broke, and it broke in a hurry.
We go on board. Let's hear if we can hear something. Right there, you hear something go wrong in the suspension, and that car skates up the racetrack.
Mark Dilley pulls the 0-2 Leland Industries machine in here. Crew lifting the hood as they go to work, jacking up the right side. They had problems with the fuel pickup on the car all afternoon. They changed the fuel pump, they had the fuel cell apart, and it appears to be still issues as they've got the hood up here on pit road.
A few teams talked about this strategy if there's an early caution and early pit stop, and that's what we're seeing. The 18 in, the 3 in, both get a little handling adjustment and a lengthy stop for the 27. Also a handling adjustment and some fuel.
So the drivers that started deeper in the field in to make adjustments as everybody continues to try and catch the man of the moment, the 76 of Caden Lapcevich. He won in a late model last night. Can he do the same here today? The Leland Industries 300 presented by Dickies from Sunset Speedway is brought to you by Mopar, authentic performance. By Leland Industries, a proud Canadian fastener company. And by Honeydew by Clean Flow, a honey of a lube. Preparing for the first restart of the day, and it is still Caden Lapcevich out in front. He'll have Alex Labbé once again to his outside. Green flag waves. We're back underway.
A number of teams took the opportunity to come onto pit road, take on fuel, make some adjustments, but out front it remains Caden Lapcevich and Alex Labbé immediately pulling away from third place.
And now Labbé able to duck down in behind the 76 of Caden Lapcevich. You see across the top of your screen the 0-2 of Mark Dilley, 5 laps down, broken right front suspension. Heartbreak for that team after a 17th place finish here last year. Mark Dilley, the general manager here at Sunset Speedway, was hoping for better things.
The crew did a great job to make that repair in just 5 laps, but that's a lot to overcome in one of these races, Dave.
And speaking of Mark Dilley being the general manager here, Sunset Speedway, one of 4 NASCAR home tracks here in Canada, and what a wonderful facility this place is.
Oh, Brian Todish and the Rena Mottos, they've done a great job with this facility. Fun to come here.
On time. Still there. Still there.
That's something you'll hear a lot over the course of the day today. Still there, somebody on the outside. This is very much a 2-groove racetrack as Kevin Lacroix in the 74 battles alongside the 95 of Anthony Simoni.
What a great side-by-side battle. And let me go back. I'd be remiss if I don't mention Sandra Todish as well as Brian. A lot of work done at this racetrack by Sandra as well.
Good look at Josh Collins making his first start of 2016. Makes a little contact with the 47 of LP Dumoulin. There's Tagliani and DJ Kennington, the 18 and the 17.
Look how smooth Tagliani rolls into the corner, closes in on Collins. Wasn't able to make a move just yet, but that car looks great early on.
Let's ride on board Jason White.
And now we'll look back from Jason Hathaway in the Chaco number 3.
I was just going to say Jason White is just going to work. You hear him not really wrestling that car too much. Currently sitting in 12th spot, so making great gains from where he didn't qualify, where he started this race.
And you look ahead, Anthony Simoni way out of shape. Oh, and he gets the inside wall. Significant contact.
Big time damage to the nose of the Innovative Plumbing Supply number 95. He carries on. No caution yet.
The rear end on that race car is out of whack.
Yeah, you can hear on the radio, we're done. There is big damage, both front and back. You see the white-walled tires on the left side. Tough break for Anthony Simoni, and see the tire marks on the inside wall. Have another look.
all by himself, way out of shape out of turn 4, just could not get the car corrected, and it was the inside wall.
Yeah, so the damage to the nose was already there, but it's the left side damage that is going to end his day early.
76 car taking advantage of this second caution period for fuel. Just a quick drop, and Caden Lapcevich on the way.
Kevin Lacroix in here for a splash of gas here on the number 74 machine. Just ahead of him, Alex LeBay. Also with a splash of gas, they get that rolling back out to the speedway.
There's Hathaway back down pit lane. LP Dumoulin, Gary Clute also getting service. Adam Martin making his first ever pit stop in the NASCAR Pinty Series. He too down and away and will rejoin the tail of the field.
Well, we have shaken up the race order here. Look at the front row. Tagliani got a restart on the outside of row 1. And Newfoundland's Josh Collins going to start from the pole.
And you saw the Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat pull down pit lane as he leaves the field in the hands of Josh Collins. Green flag is back up, and Collins will lead him into turn number 1.
Down into turn 1, and Collins having trouble with that car sticking to the bottom. They both go up the racetrack, still door-to-door into turn 3.
Collins, the first man from Newfoundland to ever make a start in the NASCAR Pinty Series, passed by Alex Tagliani in the EpiPen. Chevy up on the outside. That is Tagliani's happy place. That second groove here at Sunset Speedway.
And watching Josh Collins, you can see why. Collins' car just would not drive around the inside. When you run the high groove, it's a smoother arc. I'm not going to say it's easier to get around, but the car likes it better.
Keep an eye on the track surface itself. From the start of this race to the finish of this race, you see that black groove getting much, much wider as these cars lay down tremendous amounts of rubber over the course of 300 laps. That's exactly what's happening, and that's going to affect the handling of these race cars as that does happen.
Clinton Jeffrey is pit side with the disappointed Anthony Simone.
There's Anthony Simone. Anthony, what's the story? What happened to your 95 machine tonight?
We just had a really loose car coming off the 4 there. Got a little bit loose. Somebody got into the back of us a bit, and we got into the inside wall. Rough day.
Tough break for Anthony Simone. This is the second year in a row he had issues here at Sunset.
Good look at Trevor Siebert in the Area 27.com, number 69. Battle for 8th spot with Alex LeBay, and Siebert gets crooked into the inside car, and Jason White up to the outside wall.
Wow, that just took out British Columbia. Siebert from Williams Lake, BC, and Jason White from Sun Peaks, British Columbia, and both of them sustained hard damage.
And big damage to the Ray Bestis Brakes Chevy, number 3 of Jason Hathaway. That front end barely hanging on. Have another look. It's LeBay on the inside, Siebert up high.
Wow, hard contact to the right front of LeBay, hard contact for White into the wall. Trevor Siebert actually might have got the least amount of damage. Wow, Matthew Scannell in the OnVic 56 got slowed down for that wreck, and Jason Hathaway just could not do the same.
And there you see the frustration from Jason White as he was looking forward to a great finish here today, and the work starts on the 3 of Hathaway.
Yeah, guys, the 3 stopped briefly on pit road, but then they saw how severe the damage was. The body work is not serious. It's that left front and the suspension underneath. They're going to take the body work away, get that left front tire off, and see exactly how serious it is, but it is significant for sure.
And Hathaway, one of the favorites in this year's championship, will now have to look forward to the next race, the CRS Express 300 at Autodrome Chaudière, a place that he's done well at.
And these oval races is where Jason Hathaway really wants to excel, but right now it's Alex Tagliani in the lead.
Welcome back to a beautiful evening at Sunset Speedway in the Leland Industries 300 on TSN. I'm Dave Bradley. Along with me in the booth is Adam Ross, Clinton Jeffrey, and Todd Lewis patrolling the pits as we restart on lap 75. Alex Tagliani, your race leader.
And Tag got a great jump on that restart. Josh Collins up on the outside trying to hang on to second, but he's got a couple of chargers, and DJ Kennington in the 76 of Caden Lapcevich hot on his heels.
Couple of rookies chasing the veteran in Josh Collins and Caden Lapcevich. They're the 2 rookies. Alex Tagliani is the veteran. Look at Tagliani set sail, though. He's opened up a 2-car length gap already.
He just loves this racetrack, and he's darn good on it. Trevor Siebert, it sort of initiated that last caution. They lost 2 laps in the pits, but he is back on the racetrack.
Yeah, that car is pretty beat up. It doesn't look the best, but at least it's moving. He's able to get some points. Good look at Dwayne Baker in the Mario Designs number 40 and DJ Kennington, the Castrol Edge Dodge.
How about the number 1 of Larry Jackson? He's running in the 7th spot right now. This is his first race with Canada's best racing team. Remember, Robin Buck had a podium finish at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, so General Manager Joey McComb enlisted the services of Larry Jackson.
And Jackson, a veteran late model race car driver in this area, has tons of laps on places like Sunset Speedway, so he's very, very comfortable on an oval track, and he looks pretty comfortable in that car.
And as a former J.R. Fitzpatrick car that he's driving, I think it's fair to say this is the best equipment he's ever had to drive in this series.
I would say so too, but hats off, you know what, to Larry Jackson's teammate for the day, the 25 of Josh Collins. I don't think anybody expected him to be at the front of this race for as long as he's been there.
You know, Josh Collins is a really hard charger. He buries the car into the corners. That's not exactly the best way to get around Sunset Speedway, but he's doing a great job right now.
Battle for the lead. And there is what a veteran does. You heard Warren Jones on the scanner. Alex Tagliani open up the inside. Caden Lapsevich a little bit quicker. He gets through. No fuss, no muss, and they carry on. Look at, still with a gap on 3rd place, Josh Collins.
We've seen it a few times and we haven't talked about it today, but I love the onboard where we can look at Caden Lapsevich's eyes. He's a teenager, but he's got the focus of a veteran.
He's a veteran of the super stock ranks here at Sunset Speedway, and then now running a late model, as we mentioned, here at this very track. So he's at home on the oval at Sunset Speedway.
8th place for LP Dumoulin on board, and he's fighting an ill-handling race car, Dave.
Yeah, they were pretty pumped coming into this one. Thought they had a good car, but the handling seems to have gone off. So they'll look to make some changes at their next opportunity. But Caden Lapsevich, a driver not fighting that race car at all, as he opens up a gap now on the 18 of Alex Tagliani.
And we heard some great news this weekend. Caden Lapsevich is going to be at Autodrome Chaudière next race, and he's going to have Ohsweken Speedway on board that race car as a sponsor.
That is great news, and hopefully more Canadian companies will come on board that 76 and keep him going, because he's had 2 really great finishes to start the 2016 season.
Well, and that's what Ohsweken Speedway is doing. They want to promote Casey Kane is going to be at the track July 25th and 26th at Ohsweken, right near Brantford, Ontario. What better way to promote it than here on TSN with a front-running driver?
And Lapsevich into lap traffic as he goes around the number 75 Absolute Transport Dodge of Derek Lynch. But Caden Lapsevich has this one well in hand. We're approaching lap 100 at Sunset Speedway, and he leads the field. You're watching NASCAR on TSN from Sunset Speedway. This is the Leland 300 presented by Dickies. I'm Dave Bradley. Along with me is Adam Ross, and you can see the field nicely spread out around this 1/3 of a mile oval now.
Well, and it's just like we said, Dave. Give them a little bit of time, and you're going to see which cars are handling well and which cars are not. And we are running out of lead lap cars.
Now, if you looked at the practice sheets from earlier on this afternoon, it was 0.7 of a second covering the entire field. So you thought, okay, we've got them all close, but you're right. Some set up for short runs, some set up for long runs, and now it really is separating the good cars from the cars that struggled with their setup a little bit.
And look at Caden Lapsevich leading the race right behind Andrew Ranger, multi-time series champion. He just put Adam Martin a lap down, and Ranger's driving for all he's worth, trying to stay on the lead lap.
And the driver of that Mopar Dodge came into this event as your points leader, and he's struggling mightily here today.
Caden Lapsevich to the inside of Ranger, carefully weeding his way through this lap traffic. This is where a race can really jump up and bite, particularly a young driver.
Riding on board the Mopar Dodge of Andrew Ranger, and you see Lapsevich to the inside of the WeatherTech number 47 of LP Dumoulin. That blue flag with the yellow stripe across it, telling the drivers the leader is coming up as the 47 goes his 2nd lap down. Dumoulin, one of those drivers struggling here today.
Yeah, 2 laps down for Dumoulin. That's got to be a surprise. And now a battle for position is Adam Martin looking to go around Andrew Ranger. Johnsonville Ford at Martin's behind the wheel of. They plan to run 4 races this year. This will be their only oval track event, and then they're going to do 3 road courses, Dave.
And you see that modified looking number 69. No front fairings, no bodywork on the nose of the Area27.com number 69 of Trevor Siebert, but he is keeping pace. There's nothing wrong with that race car.
Well, as we've looked at the scoring monitors the last few laps, he's as fast as anybody out there.
Josh Collins having a great run, sitting in 3rd spot, starting all the way back in 18th. Here's a look at your 4th place runner, the GD Coates Used Car Superstore number 48 of Dwayne Baker.
And that's a gorgeous looking race car.
It really is. Good folks at Mario Design did a wonderful job wrapping that car, and it's working very well. This is probably the best day that Dwayne Baker has had so far in his NASCAR Pinty Series career.
And as many times as I see that car, I just can't see the yellow stripe making any sense. But he is a rookie in our series. Here's a driver who is not a rookie. Larry Jackson from Oakville, Ontario, driving the Pilati number 1.
And Larry Jackson with Pilati race shoes on his feet here today says they're really comfortable, and it looks like he's making himself comfortable inside that Ford Fusion. But look at the leader now getting caught by the 18 of Alex Tagliani. Tagliani has moved up about a groove, and we've got problems. Turn number 4, that is Gary Clute in the 59 who goes around. Caution flag flies.
So Gary Clute able to keep the car running, but that was the leader that went by. He is now a lap down.
And that's what hurts about a tight track like a 1/3 of a mile oval. But we'll have another look at what happened.
Down into 3, he's got LP Dumoulin right behind him. Oh, and Josh Collins from the inside groove makes contact with Clute. There's not much you can do in that case. This will be a great look.
Looking back from Gary Clute's car, Collins on the lead lap, Clute going a lap down. It's time to go.
Caden Lapcevich has run a beautiful race so far. Now it's up to the 76 team. Overshoots the pit just a little. The crew push him back, and now they're going to go to work to change those right side tires, fresh Goodyears, for the race leader.
And Caden having to pit at an awkward angle. He had to get around Alex Labbe to get into his pit stall.
And a tight pit lane as service continues. There goes Labbe, and Alex Tagliani will win the race off pit lane. So Tagliani will take the lead thanks to his crew during pit stops here in the Leland Industries 300. We'll be back. Getting set for restart number 4, the NASCAR Pinty Series, Leland Industries 300 from Sunset Speedway. Alex Tagliani, your leader, but look at that, he holds the field back. Baker started to jump ahead. We're back underway, and Caden Lapcevich gets the worst of it.
3 wide into turn number 1. That is not the way to do it, and Caden Lapcevich had to bite the brake pedal.
And Lapcevich lost the lead on a congested pit road, and now he's losing time on the racetrack as Larry Jackson in the Pilati number 1 moves to the inside of Dwayne Baker.
Unbelievable top 5, including Josh Collins, Larry Jackson, Dwayne Baker. We're getting down to the wire in this race. They're having some great runs.
Absolutely. 2 cars from the CBRT stables inside the top 5. Best showing by that race team so far in the NASCAR Pinty Series.
And Trevor Siebert without much of a front end on that number 69, right behind the early race leader, Caden Lapcevich.
I remember when CBRT joined the NASCAR Pinty Series with Bud Moore at the helm, the owner of that group. He wanted to do it right. He says, we're not coming to just play around, we're coming to win, and that's exactly what they're doing here today.
Well, you're absolutely right, but right now Josh Collins under pressure from Sunset Speedway veteran Dwayne Baker as they battle for 2nd spot, but out front, Tagliani is checking out.
You see Baker there right on the back bumper, the number 25, the Ford Fusion of Josh Collins, a pair of rookies in the NASCAR Pinty Series, as we mentioned before, chasing each other nose to tail. We're single file right through the top 5 as you see the 59 of Gary Clute coming back on the racetrack. He had some right rear issues, currently 3 laps down. That's a tough break for the NASCAR next driver.
Well, especially considering the way the opening round went at Canadian Tire Motorsport Park between he and his brother. They blew up 3 engines that weekend. They were hoping to really rebound strong here.
And it was a real possibility that he could here because he sat on pole here last year at Sunset Speedway thinking, I could probably do good things here. And unfortunately, as Lady Luck goes, sometimes she's just not on your side.
Larry Jackson under pressure from the 76 of Caden Lapcevich, trying to recover from that pit road mishap and then that nasty-looking restart.
And that's a battle for fourth spot. Collins around, coming off a turn number 2. Heartbreak for the rookie. As the number 25 Ford Fusion headed in the wrong direction, the caution flag flies, so he'll be able to take his time a little bit to get back and going.
Collins trying to outdrive Dwayne Baker, just got a little bit ahead of himself, loops it around. Tagliani, your race leader.
The view from high above Sunset Speedway. What a spectacular angle to see this racetrack as we get set for the restart. Here in the Leland Industries 300, 7 cars remain on the lead lap. Alex Tagliani and Dwayne Baker. Trial number 2 for a restart. Green flag is up. We're back underway.
Another great launch by Alex Tagliani. Larry Jackson trying to squirt through as well.
Baker hanging on the outside. He'll tuck down, get in line behind the 18, or will he? It looks like Jackson had a nose in there and said, wait a second, I have other thoughts.
You know, and the best thing for Jackson might have been getting his rear bumper up in front of the 76. Didn't quite do it, though, and Caden Lapcevich hunting on the outside.
Have a look there, though. The number 9, the Johnsonville Ford of young Adam Martin. Can I say it? Where did he come from?
You know, people said that after qualifying, a 6th place effort. Time trialing these cars is not easy on brand new Goodyear tires. Qualified 6th. Don Jacobson on top of the pit box of that Johnsonville number 9. That certainly doesn't hurt his effort.
No, Don Jacobson has been around this series for a long time. He's won a number of races with Pete Shepard at the wheel, and now he's helping to mold another young driver.
And that car prepared out of the Mixed Motorsports stable, there's a lot of experience that goes into preparing that race car, but then you got to drive it, and Adam's doing a whale of a job.
And he's not rattled. He's sitting in 4th spot. He has a lot of veteran drivers around him, including Larry Jackson on the inside. Now he's got his teammate Mark Dilley right on his back bumper. Dilley, of course, a number of laps down, 7 laps down in 15th spot, or 6, I should say, as he crosses the line.
And it's all part of their master plan. Martin hopes to compete the entire 2017 NASCAR Pinty Series. So far, he's showing that he belongs.
He definitely does, but look, getting racy is the 25 of Josh Collins, no doubt driving with his elbows out. A little hot under the collar, I can imagine.
Well, one thing Josh did really well, even when he spun out, he kept the car running, got out on the lead lap. There's 7 cars right now on the lead lap, so he restarted near the top 5.
And there is your 2nd place run on the number 48 of Dwayne Baker, chasing the 18 of Alex Tagliani. Once again, the race leader. Remember last year, he won by over a lap. Doesn't look like he'll be able to do that again here as Baker is closing the gap.
He is. He's driving that car into the corners hard. Tagliani's just kind of rolling the car into the turn and getting a nicer run off the corner.
Quick on board on the Mopar Dodge, and there's Larry Jackson giving a point out the window, letting his teammate go by on the inside, and that is Larry Jackson in a nutshell.
He's made a career of doing that. Nobody dislikes Larry Jackson.
It's true. But you know what? He's not a slouch on the racetrack. Caden Lapcevich to the inside of Dwayne Baker for 2nd. So Baker going to try and hang on the outside as the rookies lean on each other down the back straightaway. And that'll be enough for Caden Lapcevich to take over 2nd spot.
Such a thing of beauty, watching a couple of drivers with thousands of laps on this racetrack. They know exactly where they can run. They touched a little bit, but that's just short track racing.
But did you see what that side-by-side battle did? It allowed the 18 of Alex Tagliani to really stretch his legs.
Here's a couple of cars that are back from that battle at the very front, but doing a great job. They're still on the lead lap as laps continue to wind down here, David. Sunset.
Ford Fusion, they were battling for 4th spot. Adam Martin and the 25 of Josh Collins. There is Alex Tagliani now deep into lap traffic once again on the back bumper. The number 47 WeatherTech.ca Dodge of LP Dumoulin. And Dumoulin really struggling, sitting in 12th spot. Not the day that they were hoping to have.
Wow, and you see it there. That car just about snapped around on LP Dumoulin. It is no fun to drive a car like this, Dave.
It really isn't. There it goes again off of 4 sideways. LP Dumoulin will be exhausted after this race. Some debris in turn number 4 will bring out the caution. You saw it quickly as the field went around. So the field will line up once again behind that Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat. Beautiful pace car for the NASCAR Pinty Series. And there's your debris.
Never like seeing stuff wind up on the racetrack that started in the grandstands. It brings out a yellow here at Sunset.
Riding on board the 15th place car of Mark Dilley in the Leland Industries 300. DJ Kennington getting the free pass during this last caution. We now have 8 cars on the lead lap as the field lines up, heads back to green.
On board now with LP Dumoulin lined up just behind the lead lap cars, and we're green out of turn number 4. Wow, Caden Lapcevich might have got away a little bit early there.
And he was the first car to cross the stripe. Alex Tagliani coming back on the inside, but no doubt NASCAR will be taking a look at that.
And once Tagliani goes back and takes the lead, it kind of negates that penalty anyhow. You've got to give it back if you take it wrongly in NASCAR's eyes. And Tagliani slides down into turn 1 with the lead, but Caden drops to the bottom.
Back on the inside there, Crossway.
Go in there. That's short. That's short. You're clear. You're clear.
Contact from Caden Lapcevich into the rear corner. The 18 of Alex Tagliani. It is go time. 31 laps to go here at Sunset Speedway.
And that was not insignificant. Contact there. Tagliani is still loose, and there goes Dwayne Baker.
Josh Collins getting into the back of Dwayne Baker, and caution flies once again as Baker said stop. We'll have another look at what happened.
Driving down into 3 and 4, Collins right on the bumper, lifts up the back end of Baker. Oh, and here's a problem. Baker locks it up. If he can't get that car refired, we know they had starter issues at the start of that race.
And you see the field going by, and it looks like Dwayne Baker will in fact need a push to get the number 48 refired, so we continue under caution here at Sunset Speedway. Just 22 laps to go here in the Leland Industries 300, presented by Dickies at Sunset Speedway. 6 cars remain on the lead lap. We should mention Josh Collins penalized during that last caution.
1 lap down now is Josh Collins to the race leaders, and Dwayne Baker out of the race. They've rolled that car into the pits. They're not running for points. Once he lost laps sitting on the racetrack, there was no point really in going back out, Dave.
Alex Tagliani in his first start of 2016 after racing in the Indianapolis 500 continues to lead here, but he has a challenger on his back door, the 76 of Caden Lapcevich.
Running in 3rd right now is Larry Jackson in the CBRT number 1, and there's the battle for 4th. Adam Martin in the 9, the 74 Kevin Lacroix, DJ Kennington the 17.
And there is a perfect example of keeping your nose down and getting to work. DJ Kennington getting laps back in the Castrol Dodge and now inside the top 5.
Unbelievable here, Dave. Alex Tagliani leading the way. He's chased by 3 drivers that have never won a race in our series.
Larry Jackson holding down 3rd spot, but losing ground to the top 2 as Caden Lapcevich continues to try and find the early race form he had here at Sunset Speedway, where he was able to open up a huge gap, trying hard to keep up to the 18 of Tagliani.
There's still a lot of racing left to come here. Like we say, Caden Lapcevich with a lot of experience, super stocks, limited late models here at this track. If anybody can find speed, that's the young man to do it.
And how about Kevin Lacroix? Driver has kept his nose clean all day long in the bumper-to-bumper number 74. You'll remember the race number 1 at CTMP didn't go according to plan for that team. Unfortunately failed to finish, but he's having a great run here today.
It's only the 3rd time he's ever raced anything on an oval track. He looks pretty darn good.
Yeah, once a racer, always a racer, and now battling for 5th spot with the 17 of DJ Kennington.
We talk about crew chief combinations. He's got Don Thompson Jr. on his pit box, undoubtedly giving him some coaching and a pretty fast race car.
On board with Mark Dilley as we watch that battle unfold in front. And now Lacroix able to tuck up in front of the 17 of DJ Kennington. Kennington struggling a little bit in the late going.
And Kennington got back on the lead lap with a lucky dog, and he's one at the end of these races that another one that'll find all the speed that there is in that race car.
How about this for a stat? Kennington only one of 2 drivers who have started all 110 NASCAR Pinty Series events. His average finish on the oval, 6th. Incredible.
Yeah, not bad at all, is it? We look at Larry Jackson all by himself on the racetrack in that CBRT number 1, and here we've got another battle for position as Kevin Lacroix goes underneath Adam Martin battling for 4th.
Martin in the Johnsonville number 9, little crossways coming off in turn number 4 up in the outside groove, and the bumper-to-bumper Total Lubricants number 74 of Lacroix holding down that inside lane. They're side by side.
As we've seen all day long, the driver on the outside can smoothly get on the throttle. The one on the inside sort of attacks the corner, drives it in hard, and then hopes he can get the forward bike coming off.
Fewer than 6 laps remain here at Sunset Speedway. You have to get it done now if you can, and that's exactly what Kevin Lacroix is trying to do.
A great battle by a couple of young drivers. Adam Martin, we got to say it again, his first ever appearance on the series.
Alex Tagliani has opened up just a little bit more than a second lead on second place. Caden Lapsovich as these two continue to dice side by side for 4th and 5th.
And I don't believe, well, in fact, look at the left side of the number 9, Adam Martin. These 2 cars have not made contact. They've been door to door for about 5 laps now.
Yeah, they're racing like a pair of open wheel drivers. Lots of respect between the 2 of them as they continue to go side by side. This great 2-groove racetrack giving some great racing with 3 laps to go.
And you can see both drivers having to work the steering wheel, work the throttle, work the brakes. There's some lap traffic in front of them. This could play a factor in how this battle turns out.
Hathaway back on track, collecting points, but he'll tuck to the inside and let this battle play out as Lacroix gets a little crossways, and that's all Adam Martin needed to scoot out in front in a 4th spot. 2 laps to go, coming up to the white flag now for your race leader, Alex Tagliani.
1 to go for Tagliani with nearly a half straightaway lead. So smooth at this racetrack, so impressive for the 2nd year in a row.
It's not by a lap, but he'll win it again. Alex Tagliani cruises to the checkered in the Leland Industries 300 at Sunset Speedway.
Caden Lapsovich finishes 2nd, and how about Larry Jackson finishing 3rd? This is a great run for team owner Colin Livingston and that number 18.
And Alex Tagliani will calmly and coolly bring it down to victory lane. He'll celebrate for a 2nd year in a row. Welcome back as we get set for victory lane ceremonies here at Sunset Speedway in the
The former Oswego Speedway champion, super modified ace, was a legendary racer in the Northeast. To honor his legacy, the Stars of ISMA have brought their winged beast to the Steel Palace, aiming to be champion of the Jack Murphy Memorial. Suzuki presents Speed Sport. Welcome to the Oswego Speedway in Oswego, New York, just a few miles from the banks of Lake Ontario. Hi everybody, I'm Ralph Shaheen alongside Derek Pertisiglio, and today the International Super Modified Association, or ISMA, is here to battle in the 50-lap Jack Murphy Memorial. Here's Dan Kapuzinski.
Thanks, guys. Well, one of the most heart-stopping things you can see at any ISMA Super Modified event is time trials. And the king of time trials here at Oswego Speedway is Mike Lichty. Last night in open practice, Lichty ran a 14.790 and on official track record. But today, Mike, you managed to even better that, a 14.730, another new Oswego Speedway track record. Talk about that blistering lap.
Yeah, we did. You know, yesterday we unloaded the car and everything went very well. In the past, we've always ran extremely quick here, and just shows how hard everybody works on this thing. So we definitely had to back it up today, and if not tie the time we ran yesterday, or if not break it. So fortunately we did.
The heat of the day didn't seem to affect you at all. Some people thought maybe the times would be a little slower with as hot as it is this afternoon.
Actually, that big cloud saved us. Just about 3 minutes ago, the cloud rolled over and the sun came out, and prior to that, the cloud went over and probably lost 20 degrees track temperature. So we'll thank that big cloud.
How do you think you'll be in race trim today?
I'm hoping good. I mean, we always run good here. It's just starting position is key. 50 laps, and obviously we're going to be running here probably 5 o'clock, I'm going to say, something like that. A lot, maybe 6 o'clock, a lot earlier than we do in the past. So just got to make sure our adjustments, we do them properly, and hopefully we'll be in victory lane at the end of the night.
Well, Mike Lichty, another new track record here at Oswego Speedway, hoping to put the Reeds 84 in victory lane one more time here at the Steel Palace.
Derek, he had this race won a year ago, lost it in a photo finish.
Yeah, very true. He got caught behind some lap traffic, and the number 78 of Mark Samet was able to take advantage of it and just nipped him at the line.
Got a couple of heat races to kick things off. We'll begin with heat race number 1, brought to you by PFC Brakes. Dave McKnight's going to start on the pole. He's a former ISMA champ and actually drove for Lichty's dad.
Dave McKnight practically dominated here in the early 2000s at Oswego, winning 4 consecutive features, actually driving for Mike Lichty's dad, Brad Lichty.
Last year's win at Samet is in the 78 on the outside of the front row as we go green for 10 laps.
Samet really threw it in on the outside to try to get ahead of McKnight, but McKnight on the bottom in that Gary Morton number 70 owned car.
All of these cars will move on to the main event. This is basically a handicap system that they use to set the field.
Yeah, very true. The handicap spots are just used. Everyone qualifies, but it's just for lining them up.
Now McKnight looks like he's got a pretty solid car pulling away from Samet.
Also, the heat races, yes, you do race for qualifying positions in the heat races, but a lot of these drivers know that the field is short. It's almost a quick 10-lap practice session so they can feel the car out and see what it's going to do.
Boy, those big wings just give these cars so much downforce in the corners.
It is one of the coolest things to watch these cars, a winged car, around the Oswego Speedway. For years, they would not let winged cars race at this racetrack because the cars were so fast here, the super modifieds without the wings. They were afraid that it was going to be too dangerous with a wing.
Well, if you're new to super modified racing, especially here at Oswego, one of the neat things to watch is that big wing as it moves up and down as they go down the straightaway and then into the corner.
Yeah, that's the pneumatic wing that they use up on the top of the cars. They're actually cylinders that are filled with compressed air. So they will actually, oh, trouble out there on the track. One car smoked up in smoke, and it looks like it's the number 96 machine of Lou LeVay.
Yeah, Lou LeVay Sr. smoking and coming to a stopover in the turn 1-2 area. Fortunately, he crawls out of the car and seems to be okay.
A little bit of fire, it looks like, right out the left side of the cage. You can see it right there above the left front tire, the left rear tire.
Well, fortunately, he's out, but it looks like it might have been a bit of a wild ride to an end there as the car came up to rest on the inside of the wall.
A tough break for the LeVay family. Lou LeVay Sr. and Jr. both race here at the Oswego Speedway weekly, and now Lou LeVay Sr. competing with the ISMA Super Modifieds.
Well, we'll see if they can get that car ready for the main event coming up a little later on in the show. We'll be right back for more Suzuki Presents Speed Sport from Oswego after this. ISMA's Jack Murphy Memorial is brought to you by Suzuki. Visit SuzukiCycles.com for Suzuki's full lineup of motorcycles, scooters, and ATVs. Welcome back to the Irish Jack Murphy Memorial. It's the season opener. The ISMA Super Modifieds cleaning up Lou LeVay Sr.'s number 96 from his incident. Let's learn more about Irish Jack Murphy from Dan.
Well, tonight the ISMA Super Modifieds race in the memory of Irish Jack Murphy. Now, Jack Murphy won the very first International Classic at Oswego Speedway all the way back in 1957, but in fact, he won the 1970 New York State Fair Championship in this very coupe. Irish Jack Murphy was the president of the ISMA Club for several years, and that's why tonight these guys will race 50 laps in honor of Irish Jack.
And Jack Murphy comes from that golden age of modified racing where drivers raced on dirt and pavement. I mean, drivers like him, Lou Lazzaro, Al Tasnati, the Trecklers, they have made a legacy in that northern New York area.
Halfway through this 10-lap race as we get back to green with Dave McKnight still in the lead. Samet, Edwards, McVetta all running in the top 5.
McKnight doing a really good job with Gary Morton's number 70 car. Gary Morton was a long-time ISMA super modified competitor for many, many years, stepped out of the seat, and has now put McKnight in the car. They've had about a year now to try to figure the car out. They've been trying some new things with the setups.
Dave Gruhl got around Allison Cummins at the start here as we went back to green.
Single file right now. Everyone is just feeling their cars out. They're just seeing what they're going to do and how the cars are going to handle for the race to come.
Ironically, just as fast as Gruhl got around Allison, he slowed back down, and Allison Cummins has gotten back around him for 5th now.
No need to push the issue right now. Just got to test the cars out. One car slow now on the bottom, the number 76 machine.
Yeah, that's Gruhl.
He's going to pull off to the wayside.
Working around here, heading towards the last lap.
Well, it really is amazing the speeds they turn here. 14-second laps compared to without a wing where they turn 16.
Checkered flag waves. McKnight takes the win. Sammet will finish in 2nd, and Kyle Edwards will come across the line in 3rd. Let's go down to Dan now, who's caught up with our heat winner.
Dave McKnight coming in from north of the border, Canada here today to get the win in the first ISMA qualifying heat. Dave, a top run out there, handled him well. A good battle with Sammet down into 1, but once you got the lead, pretty much checked out and held your own.
Yeah, you know, we did a lot of changes this year, and we're playing with a new package. Wing on the frame instead of on the wheels. We got some bugs to work out, but hey, we gained on it all day, so pretty happy so far. Got a little ways to go, but feature's the one we want.
Dave McKnight very happy with his ride here in his qualifying heat race, hoping to return to Steel Palace Victory Lane.
We'll have the action from heat number 2 when we come back. Chris Purley will be in that one. We'll see Ben Seitz and the always fast Timmy J when Suzuki Presents Speed Sport returns. Suzuki Presents Speed Sport, bringing you the action from the ISMA season opener, the Jack Murphy Memorial. PFC Brakes, helping us bring you the coverage of heat race number 2. Ray Graham, Ben Seitz, Purley, Jedrzejek, Timmy J in here as well, Derek.
Good 6-car field. 2 champions are also in the field with Ben Seitz and Chris Purley, who is the all-time win leader in the International Super Modified Association.
Field idling around. Timmy J is in that 97 car. He's actually going to carry it on board for us. He won the ISMA Super Nationals last fall. Last time we had the ISMA Series on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport. We're riding along with him as we come to the green. He goes from the outside to the bottom. Here comes the 19. That's Trent Stevens around the outside.
Really gives you an idea how much these cars move around on the racetrack. Sure, they are wide-bodied, they have a lot of downforce, but they also do twitch around the racetrack a lot.
You can really hear them working that throttle, too.
You can drive so much deeper into the corner with a wing on top. They just have so much downforce. It's just really driving that car into the pavement.
You see the 11, that's Chris Purley, the black car. He's right behind the 17 of Ben Seitz. Ray Graham continues to lead here. And Graham's an interesting story in this race, Derek, because he's driving a car that's really a non-wing car that's been turned into a wing car for this weekend.
That's right. The car that he's driving has won 5 non-wing super modified events at Oswego. Running out in front right now, he's really showing that the wing and non-wing cars can really coexist together, because a lot of drivers for a long time thought you need one type of super modified to race without a wing and one with a wing.
A non-wing car with a wing on it sure looks pretty good right now. Boy, he is really pulling away from the rest of these guys.
Good battles deeper in the field, too. You can see Trent Stevens going back and forth with Tim Jedrzejek, and Stevens has the advantage over Jedrzejek right now.
That's our 4th and 5th place cars. Meanwhile, Graham opening up a big gap. There he is.
Running a good groove, car set, not moving around too much, and being really smooth around this racetrack is key.
Boy, with these big wing super modifieds, the laps will just click off in a hurry.
Like we said, they are 2 seconds faster than the non-wing super modified. So roundabout, they're probably going about 25, 30 miles an hour faster with the wing than without the wing. 2 champions going at it right there. Ben Seitz in the 17, the 11 is Chris Purley. Purley, a 6-time ISMA champion.
Here comes Graham and another lap in the books.
It really is cool to watch how the wing moves around when they go down the straightaways. Those wings are actually sitting on compressed air cylinders, so the faster the car goes, the more the wing will drop down.
And as we heard, different places to mount those wings too. As a checkered flag falls, this one comes to an end. Graham with a big win over Seitz and Purley. Well, while we get ready for more racing action, let's head back down to the pit area now and hear from our heat winner.
Winner of ISMA qualifying heat number 2, coming in all the way from Ankeny, Iowa, putting the wing on tonight. Ray, I see on the side of this race car has 5 wins without a wing on top. Put the wing on tonight and come out and run just as good with it.
Well, let's hope so. Wing, non-wing, if you can get a win here, it's not easy. So we've ran this car a couple times with the wing. It ran okay, so we'll see what we get tonight.
Well, Ray Graham, one of the drivers that's not afraid to run a super modified with and without a wing, hoping to get his car into victory lane tonight at Oswego.
We'll get a look at Mike Lichty, Dave Schulich, and Tim Ice in Heat 3 when Suzuki Presents Speed Sport returns to the Jack Murphy Memorial. Welcome back to the Oswego Speedway and the Jack Murphy Memorial. In addition to our Speed Sport TV shows, we also publish a monthly magazine. For 82 years, Speed Sport has provided racing fans with all the motorsports news, exclusive features, and commentary you can digest. For those of you watching right now, we have a special offer just for you. Using the promo code Oswego, you will get a free t-shirt with each Speed Sport magazine subscription. Sign up today at speedsport.com. Getting ready for Heat 3, presented by PFC Brakes. Tim Ice and Mike Ordway Jr. lead the field to the green. Oh man, look at Schulich making the moves on the outside. Lichty also involved here as they all come screaming to the green.
Schulich and Lichty on the move in the hurry. They're going where everyone else is not, going to that outside line, trying to take the long way around, and it's working for them.
Boy, Schulich has a fast car.
Very fast car. He can just dive in the corner without a problem. He could run the top just like Mike Lichty as well. Look at him taking a look to the outside, going to try to challenge Tim Ice and moving to the top line.
Now here he is already challenging the 65 of Tim Ice.
Moving to the outside. Now they're going to be side by side. Lichty has just got one of those cars where he can put it anywhere he wants around the track.
Well, he put it right into the lead. Man, what a quick race car for Mike Lichty here tonight, at least in the short 10-lap heat race. Much different story, though, maybe when we get to the main event. We'll see if he can make that car last the entire distance in the main. 50 laps will run the Jack Murphy Memorial.
Watching the 61 of Mike Ordway Jr., you can see in the middle of the corner, he's trying to keep that car on the bottom, but he just can't do it. Shirey is taking a look underneath him in the number 49.
Derek Ordway is going to go from the lead all the way back to 6th.
Yeah, something definitely amiss in the handling on that car. You can tell as he drives it in the corner, it just skates up the track.
Watching Ice and Schulich battle here. Schulich's in the 95. This is a fight for second.
And that's a really solid car the number 65 of Tim Ice is driving. That car actually came out of the Chris Purley stables.
Our race leader, though, boy, he has got a screaming quick race car here tonight.
Yeah, he has just taken off into another time zone. Mike Lichty definitely showing early on that he has one of the cars to beat this evening.
These two pretty much holding their positions for now.
They're not really pushing the issue just yet. In the previous heat race, you know, they're just testing the waters right now. It's a quick 10-lap heat race. You don't want to push the car too hard to try to pass for positions. Everybody's going to make the race. Use this time right now to gather data to see what the car is going to feel like.
Checkered flag falls for Mike Lichty. Tim Ice will take second. Dave Schulich will hold on for third. But the story of this one is Mike Lichty and how he made his way to the front, Dan.
Mike Lichty set a new track record once again, now a qualifying heat win. Mike, what do you think? Can he make it the clean sweep here tonight?
Let's hope so. You know, we've been fortunate enough in the past to win a couple of shows here, and it always means a lot coming back to Oswego. So we're 2 for 2 now. Let's try and finish the night out.
Well, in the heat of the sun, Mike Lichty has no trouble, hoping he can keep it going later on for tonight's Jack Murphy Memorial.
Well, Dave Schulich, the defending series champ, finished third with an older car that the crew has been tweaking on all day. And here he is now with a third place run. Based on some bold moves, get him there, Dan.
Here with Dave Schulich Jr., the defending 2015 ISMA Supermodified champion. And Dave, we were talking earlier, went out for your qualifying attempt earlier tonight and had some issues in the front end of this race car.
Yeah, we actually, I haven't ran this car since 2014, and we brought it out this weekend and just really tight with it. Couldn't get it to turn. And in qualifying, it was really, really bad. And I knew something was wrong. And I come in, we found the front axle, the right front, right where it goes into the bird cage or the spindle. It was broken. So that's the reason. In the heat, we started last and made our way up through. So I think we're good now. Hopefully, we feel we're going to be good in the race.
I was going to say, you definitely came through the pack in the heat race. Now you got to start back in that 6th row for the feature. You haven't been to victory lane here at the Speedway since 14. I'm sure you're itching and ready to go for this Murphy Memorial.
Oh, absolutely. You know, the 84 is extremely fast here today, and we were hoping to have our other car, which we feel would be on par with that here, but we didn't work out. So we're looking for a good race. We're going to take what the car gives us and go from there.
Well, despite issues earlier today, Dave Schulich Jr. seems to be well on his way to having another tremendous battle with Mike Lichty and the rest of the ISMA gang here in the Jack Murphy Memorial.
Well, the heat races are done. That means the main event is up next. We'll have all the green flag racing action for you here on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport. Stay with us. Welcome back to Suzuki Presents Speed Sport here on MAV TV, as we are every Thursday night. Getting ready for the main event from the Jack Murphy Memorial at Oswego Speedway. The ISMA Super Modified is ready to roll off. Let's head down now. Trackside, here's our pole sitter with Dan Kapazinski.
Here now with the pole sitter for tonight's 50-lap Irish Jack Murphy Memorial, Tim Ice, an accomplished super modified and late model racer from the state of Ohio. Tim, what would it mean tonight to get a big win here in honor of Jack Murphy?
Oh, man, it would be excellent. I've really tried hard. I've never won an ISMA super modified race, just MSA, and that's my goal for this year, to win the ISMA race. Just to be great.
You got Ben Seitz over there on the outside of you. What's the game plan? You're up front, hammer down.
The lead here really means a lot. Clean air is good here, so hopefully I can beat him into the first quarter here and stay in the lead, and we'll do our best.
Well, Tim Ice, driver of the number 65, will start from pole position for tonight's Jack Murphy Memorial.
As really cool as the ISMA Super Modifieds are, the modern day cars, this original Jack Murphy car is really neat.
That's a gorgeous car. That's actually a car that he used to win at Syracuse with on the dirt.
And now look at the modern day beasts that are getting ready to battle for 50 laps here at the Steel Palace. Man, they have come a long way.
The cars have definitely had a lot of evolution over the years, and we'll talk about some of that technical stuff as we get into the race.
Wow, look at this. Ben Seitz, who's supposed to be starting on the outside of the front row, heading to his pit area, Derek.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate situation. Something seems to be amiss on the car. The crew is going to work right now. You can see Dick Bean leaning over the engine.
And that will move the 25 of Dan Bowes up a spot as we get ready with the sign of 1 lap to go. Let's take a look at our Core Pack starting lineup at the Steel Palace for this famed Jack Murphy Memorial.
They do love their super modified racing here in the Northeast, especially at Oswego. Oswego is the only track to host weekly super modified racing in the entire country.
Great onboard shot as we get ready to go. Timmy J going to carry the camera for us. And here we go.
Good move for Dan Bowes on the outside. Kind of carried his momentum as he went into the first corner. He was able to keep the RPMs up, keep the momentum up as you go into the corner, and kind of like, as we say, roll the top.
Purley and Lichty all in this group. A little bit of an outside groove working right now, too, it looks like.
Yeah, that's Mike McBetta in that yellow and red car, that number 22 machine. Ralph, would you believe it or not, he's an engineer for NASA, and he built his own race car.
Well, if you can send a rocket to the moon, you can certainly put one around Oswego.
Mike Lichty is on the move right now. Look at him. The car is just like a slot car. He can put that car anywhere he wants right now, and it's really sticking well up on the top.
Again, Lichty in the silver 84.
Number 70, McKnight also sticking both on the top and on the bottom. He was making passes on the high side and the low side, and he just got underneath Chris Purley in that number 11 car.
You also see the 95 machine, Dave Schulich Jr., well-known super modified racer here at Oswego, competes with and without that wing on.
Yeah, and he's also the defending champion of the International Super Modified Association. He's chasing yet another champion in front of him, Chris Purley, a 6-time champion, and he's also the all-time win leader.
Lichty stalking here, and no surprise again, Derek. Remember, he set a track record earlier today.
Yeah, he did. He lapped the racetrack in a time of 14.730 seconds, the fastest anyone has ever been around this racetrack.
He's closing in on Tim Ice. That's that black 65 with the blue number on the side of the wing.
Tim Ice, that's kind of a new car for Tim Ice. They got that car out of the Chris Purley stables. Lee O'Shea and the team built that car. Actually, they built a couple of cars. Chris Purley drives one right now, but that one comes out of that stable, and another car that comes from that team is the 39 of Allison Cummins.
22, Mike McBetta. Caught a glimpse of him, but the real story right here is a battle between these two. Lichty and Ice, as they're fighting over third right now. And Lichty's been able to make things happen on the outside, but Ice is drifting up a little bit wider and kind of taking that line away as they come up off of the corners.
Yes, you're right, but Lichty is stalking. He knows he has a fast car right now, and he knows he's faster than Tim Ice in that number 65. The other thing we have to touch on, too, is everyone's fighting for the bottom. So if you're going to make passes here today, you're going to have to go to the outside. You're going to have to go where everyone else isn't.
First 10 laps, just about in the books. Penalties are awesome.
Man, look how the fence shakes as they move the air around coming down the front straightaway. Really gives you an idea on how much downforce these cars get with those big wings.
What I love is the creativity. Oh, and trouble. One in the wall, Dave Dugan in the 51. Stuffs it into the massive foam blocks to line the Steel Palace here at Oswego. He's moving around in the car. That's a great sign. The cleanup crew over there to check him out and get the racetrack ready to go back to green. We'll have that for you when we return on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport. Well, the cleanup continues here at the Steel Palace, known as Oswego Speedway. Dave Dugan stuffed the 51 backwards into the big foam blocks here, and you can see the damage it did to the rear end of his machine.
It looks like a lot of damage, but in actuality, those foam blocks saved that car tremendously, because if he had just hit the wall hard, there would have been a lot more damage and probably some frame damage as well.
Well, that was it. It was all the big wing on the back end of his car that got damaged, which he'll happily replace that and not have to worry about the chassis itself. So the field rolling around, Dan Bowes, who has never won here at Oswego, and that black 25 leads him back to the green, and here we come as they get heavy into the throttle, going into 3.
Good restart by the number 19 of Trent Stevens. He just caught a really good bite as he was able to come back to the throttle.
And look at Lichty up on the outside in the 84. There's third. Here's second. He's going to get them both on the outside.
Taking advantage of those cool tires right now. You have that yellow flag. You're able to cool the tires down and not abuse them so much.
Lichty, the one driver who has really been able to make that outside groove work here today.
Another driver, 70 of McKnight, he's on the move as well. He's able to put that car wherever he wants, and he talked about at the beginning of the show, moving that wing around. They move the mounting points of the wing from the bird cages on the axle to the actual frame. That way it loads the entire car and not just the tires.
Purley also looking around in the black 11.
A lot of traffic on this restart.
Again, remember, Lichty lost this race in a photo finish last year. Here come the leaners up off at turn 4, coming at you right here. Boy, Derek, he's trying to get around him here. Just take over this race.
Lichty is eyeing him up right now. He knows he has a good car. He doesn't want to take too much advantage of it and push the issue too much because you really want to save the car for the end of the race. But right now, as they come down the front straightaway, if you look, they are driving headlong into the sun. As they go into turn 1, it is almost blinding until you get into the shade.
Long shadows down that front straightaway, down the back stretch too. Here comes Lichty on the outside again. Look at that thing stick to the track. The power goes right to the ground. We've got a new leader, Mike Lichty.
He just bulldogged his way to the outside, put it up around the top, rolled it up there, and now he is taken off, putting a lot of daylight between himself and Trent Stevens.
And not even halfway yet. Close, but not there just yet.
That's one of those Brian Allegresso chassis, the number 84 that Mike Lichty is driving. There's a couple of those Allegresso chassis in the field, the number 70 of Dave McKnight also being one of them.
And Derek, also, you know, Dan Bose has dropped back again. He's all the way back to third now as McKnight puts that yellow 70 into the top 3.
Yeah, the car is definitely starting to go away, but Schulich is moving on the bottom. You can see he got under Chris Purley. Now he's eyeing up the number 25 machine and takes the pass, makes it, going in the corner.
Yeah, Bose going further back.
These cars are moving a lot of air around right now, too. And the other thing that helps the leaders is the clean air. There's no cars around them, so they're not moving that dirty air around. Believe it or not, these big wings, they push a lot of air around. They swirl it up, and if you get caught behind one of these guys, you don't get that maximum downforce than if you were out in front all by yourself.
I love the creativity and the engineering as to who decides where they want to, how they want to shape these wings and what they want to do with them on the top, the front, and the back ends of these race cars.
It really is cool to see the mad scientist in the creation of these things because these cars, it's one of the few last bastions of racing where the drivers or the crews or the teams build their own stuff and come up with their own ideas for suspension, aerodynamics, and chassis.
Catch a glimpse of McVetti's 22 right there. That's just in the back end of the top 10.
And that's one of those guys that we're talking about. He built that car himself in his own garage.
Passes being made deep in the field, too, as you catch a glimpse of Ray Graham in the 90. That's that non-wing super modified right there, running today with the wing on it.
Yeah, that's that Extreme chassis built by Paul Koloka. They have a couple of them, and the Graham team runs them, and they also run the non-wing cars weekly here at Oswego. So they're kind of showing that the wing and non-wing chassis can coexist together.
And at the halfway point, Ray is in 12th with Allison Cummins chasing him down in her 39. That's Bose and McVetta running 8th and 9th. Bose again in the 25.
McVetta is trying to line up Bose. He can get into the corner and get a good run off. He enters high and tries to come off low with a good bite off the turn.
Bose starts way down low, but then that car drifts up a little bit. And that might be something McVetta can take advantage of when Suzuki Presents Speed Sport returns to the Steel Palace. Stay with us for the finish of the Jack Murphy Memorial. Getting into the late stages of the ISMA season opener for the Super Modifieds with the wings on them. Running here today at the Steel Palace. Timmy J carrying that onboard camera for us, and what a view.
Well, you can look at that front axle moving up and down, too, on the racetrack. It's been a while since the surface has been repaved here at Oswego, so there's some irregularities in the pavement. And, Ralph, there's that sun we talked about, driving headlong into it as you go into turn 1. And then right there, you go into the shade, and your eyes have to have that focus for a little bit, going from light to dark.
I know all the bumps in this track are probably very challenging and frustrating for the drivers and teams, but as a fan, I love it. It makes for some great characteristics to this track and provides for fantastic racing. That's Allison Cummins just in front, by the way, of Tim J, holding on to 13.
Well, we're seeing a little puff of smoke out of the left rear corner of the number 84 of Mike Lichty's car. You can just see it as he gets back into the throttle, and you can just, has a little bit of a puff, and then it disappears.
Well, that...
Right there.
Oh, yeah. That's a little bit more than a puff, wouldn't you say?
Don't know what that could be. It could be possible oil breather, a little bit of oil spraying onto the exhaust, maybe even a chunk of rubber that's stuck up in the calipers. It could be anything right now.
Well, he's working around Ben Seitz in the 17, who was supposed to start on the outside of the front row. Remember, he went to the pits, back out on the track, but still not running as good as he had hoped. The thing Lichty really has to worry about is Trent Stevens, because the 19 runs in second and is starting to close in.
Whatever problem it could be slowing Lichty down. Like you said, Trent Stevens is closing in, and Trent Stevens won a super modified race here before, and he's actually also won a sprint car race here.
When Lichty lost this one in a photo finish last year, wanted to dominate here today. Canadian Dave McKnight in the 70 won a heat race earlier today, coming along in third behind Stevens.
And did you watch? He had that similar puff of smoke out the left rear corner that Mike Lichty had in the 84. We're going to keep an eye on that.
Also, Ray Graham has gone to the pits from 12th position. He won Heat 2 earlier this afternoon.
Whoa, Lichty a little bit sideways, got up into that loose stuff a little bit. You can run the outside here, but if you get into that light gray area, there isn't much rubber laid down, and you also run the risk of catching a couple of marbles up there.
Well, he's being caught because Stevens is all over him with McKnight right there as well, and one car around the 21 of Eddie Whitcomb, who was running in 16th, spins his red machine around, and that's going to slow the field down behind Lichty. Well, let's see if we can find out what's wrong with Lichty's car, where that smoke is coming from. Let's touch base with Dan.
Here with the crew chief on the 84 machine, Brad Lichty. Brad, we ran over. Mike appeared to be slowing down just a little bit. Second and third catching up. Is there any issue with the car at all at this point?
No, not right now. He was backing up a little bit, conserving tires, and we're fine. Everything's good to go.
Well, Brad Lichty seems pretty confident right now that Mike is going to be able to keep that car out in front here with about 13 laps remaining in the Jack Murphy Memorial.
Well, Brad is Mike's dad, and I guess with 13 to go, you have to convince yourself everything's okay.
Yeah, you definitely have to. There's nothing you can do now. You can either pull in and not win the race or try to finish it out and win the race.
Well, Lichty took the lead on the restart back on lap 17. Now about 12 or so laps remaining. Let's see if he can hold Stevens, McKnight, and Schulich off as we go back to green here at Oswego.
Stevens trying again to get that good bite on the restart, but Lichty just too good.
He's going to need to open up as much of a gap as he possibly can. If there is a problem with that car, if he can space them out now, that might just be enough.
And that's exactly what he's doing. You can see Lichty is completing the first lap of that restart. He's already pulling away 5-6 car lengths.
McKnight in the 70. Remember, we saw smoke coming out of his car too, but Derek, I don't see it right now. All that white stuff you see floating around, if you're new to racing here at Oswego, we had a couple of impacts into the foam barriers. There's just some of the little pieces of foam floating around. Not snowing here in upstate New York today.
Yeah, that's not snow out there. Those are just the chunks of foam. You can see it breaking up as the cars hit it, but Oswego Speedway, one of the first tracks in the United States to implement those foam blocks, which was the very first form of a soft wall.
And you can see on some of the sections down the back straightaway where this racetrack gets its name, those massive steel panels that line this racetrack that are so hard to hit if it wasn't for those foam blocks.
Well, the Caruso family that originally owned this racetrack were in the steel business. So Mr. Caruso took a lot of that steel from his plant and built this racetrack. The walls are actually made of half-inch thick, heavy-grade boilerplate.
Less than 10 laps remaining. McKnight trying to get around Stevens as the battle for second rages on, and that ends up being the best battle now because Lichty has definitely opened up a gap.
He's catching Stevens right. Oh, trouble. He runs over him, and Stevens gets turned around.
The 19 is facing the wrong direction, but he's going to keep it just off the wall. And we're going to have a restart here with less than 10 laps remaining.
It looks like Stevens just entered a little wide. He slides the rear end of the car right there, and that left the bottom open. McKnight tried to stick his nose in. Stevens kind of nosed down to the bottom, and that's when they made that tire-to-tire contact.
McKnight had to go for that.
Absolutely. It's the late stages of the race. You're running in the top 3. You have to go for it.
Let's get a late race report from Dan.
Well, obviously, it appeared as though there was contact between the 70 of Dave McKnight and the 19 of Trent Stevens. Keep an eye on the front nose wing of the McKnight machine. It is hanging loose, and that could certainly throw some fits to Dave McKnight from an aerodynamic perspective as we look to get through the last 8 laps of this main event.
What do you think, Derek?
Well, it looks like the front split clamp is broke on the number 70 in McKnight's car. With that thing hanging on the ground, it's not going to have the downforce to plant that front end.
Stay with us for the finish from Oswego here on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport right after these words. Excited to announce here on Suzuki Presents Speed Sport that we will have the ISMA Super Modifieds back with us again later in the season. But today is their season opener. The Jack Murphy Memorial as we get going back to green for the final few laps.
And Dave McKnight heard Schulich out there. He heard him trying to go to the outside, moved up the track to half a groove a little bit, and blocked him to keep him from getting that good restart.
And Lichty disappears again, and McKnight has to play defense with that bent front wing.
Well, he's definitely starting to get tight out there. You can see him turning the wheel, and it's pushing the front end because he doesn't have that front grip on the nose because the wing is broke. It's hanging on the ground.
Schulich in the 95, McKnight in the yellow 70. This is going to be the race to the checkers. It's going to be for second. Lichty is pulling it away, and even if Schulich gets around McKnight, I don't think he's going to have enough time to catch him.
Boy, McKnight is doing an incredible job out there. He knows the car is not handling the way it used to, and he's still able to limp it to this finish. And look, there goes Schulich underneath him.
Schulich sees the opening on the bottom and takes the position away as we come to the line with 5 to go.
Well, right now, if I'm Dave McKnight, I realize that Schulich is faster. He's going to start pulling away, so I have to run just as smooth and consistently as I can until I get to the checkered flag.
Tim Ice is back there in 4th, Chris Purley in 5th. Schulich is hustling the 95, but look at the gap.
Yeah, it looks like he's reeling him in. It definitely looks like he's closing the gap with each lap, but don't know if he's going to have enough time to catch him.
3 to go this time by, and you've heard the old racing saying, catching him is one thing, passing him is another. With 3 to go, gonna be tough.
He is definitely closing in. You can see with each time they come down the back straightaway and the front straightaway, that distance between first and second is tightening.
This time by, 2 laps remaining here at Oswego. What a great season opener for the ISMA Super Modifieds.
Boy, Lichty has been good all day long. He can put that car anywhere he wants on the racetrack.
White flag, 1 to go. And Derek, I got to tell you, I haven't seen anybody make some brilliant outside passes like he did here today. It's been a while we've seen moves like that at Oswego.
It was very cool to see, but that's what having that extra wing and that big downforce will do for you.
The checkered flag and the Jack Murphy Memorial goes to Mike Lichty as he takes the win here today at the Steel Palace. We'll be right back to Oswego to talk to the winner, Mike Lichty, on how he got the victory here this afternoon. Stay with us. The Jack Murphy Memorial has been brought to you by Suzuki. Visit SuzukiCycles.com for Suzuki's full lineup of motorcycle scooters and ATVs. Well, as Mike Lichty pulls into victory lane, let's take you back and show you how he got it done here today. Seeking his first ISMA victory, Tim Ice led the field to the green, but Dan Bowes charged to the lead by the first turn. By lap 11, third place starter Trent Stevens took over the top spot, followed closely by the track record holder Mike Lichty, who fiercely made his way up to second from his 7th place starting position. Lichty then took the lead 5 laps later, never relinquished it, leading the remaining 33 laps, a bit of redemption for just missing out on the win last year. Well, let's go hear from the winner who's in victory lane with Dan Kapazinski.
Mike Lichty up and out of the car, a big Jack Murphy Memorial win here tonight at Oswego Speedway. Mike, you set quick time. Another new track record, qualifying heat race win. You pull the clean sweep. It doesn't get much more dominant than that.
No, we'll take that. I love coming to this place. I just got to thank everybody at Reed Salvage, Craig Reed, my girlfriend Raven, Deanna, Carol Reed, my father with Paco Transportation, everybody that puts effort in it. I mean, we knew we were good all weekend, especially after the heat race and whatnot. And then we actually started getting a little free there, a little looser than I would have liked to. I just didn't know to judge on setup because we ran kind of in the daytime or whatever. But hats off, I can't thank Oswego Speedway enough. Core Pack, Eddie Shea, everybody at the race shop. I like this.
About 15 laps to go in traffic. It looked as though second and third was drawing in. What was your mindset at that point? Saving tires, or was there any kind of an issue happening?
The guys I was trying to pass, like Seitz and whatnot, and Timmy, they were rolling around pretty decent, so I didn't want to push it and then burn my stuff up and slip the rear tires, and then it gives them a full advantage of catching me. So I was just kind of following them and seeing if they would make a mistake, and luckily we got the caution to draw them back around. So just got to thank everybody, and this is a cool deal.
Well, Mike Lichty, the Jack Murphy Memorial Champion here tonight at Oswego Speedway. His first win at the Big O since 2014.